When are we laying sticks of dynamite on the 5th hole and lighting the fuse? When will you let me do that?
Ooh. I don't know. I think we're better off giving you a bunker lesson.
Whoa!
It's Foreplay, presented by Barstool Sports, brought to you by Chevrolet. It's the Danny, Trent, and Frankie show today. No Riggsy boy. He's out at Bandon Dunes. Even on my wedding week, we can't get Riggsy out here. He's just bad with wedding weeks. He is coming to my wedding, though. I will say that. I don't know what that says about
how sure are you of that he's coming to the wedding?
It is the day after 4th of July when we were recording this, so it is July 5th. And how are you guys feeling? It's a fucking summer Wednesday. We're going to shoot the shit a little bit. We're going to talk amongst the three of us. We're going to get some club pros, hopefully, to call in. We're going to get some superintendents to call in. I want to hear from the people that make the golf circle go round. You know what I mean? You got to shine a light sometimes on these guys that work in the darkness. They're in the bag rooms. They're in the caddy yards. They're in the shops. You know, it's not so glitzy and glamorous behind the picket fence where these guys work. So I definitely like to talk to those guys from time to time.
In that vein, Frankie, whatever happened to Behind the Greens? Did you become too big time to continue shining that light, or what?
No,
what happened?
What? Behind the Greens is. I always say that if I had another shot at this thing, like if I had just like my dream to go pursue, I'd maybe want to go make movies, like legitimate movies. I'd love to be a producer or a director and just be able to piece together a story. And Behind the Greens scratched that itch real hard for me. If you go back and watch that first Behind the Greens, or really all three of them,
was it Wingfoot?
It was Wingfoot, Torrey Pines, and then we did a winter one where we went to National Golf Link. We went to fucking National.
Yeah. They let you guys out there?
Dude, bro, like the windmill was like, they put up the American flag during a snowstorm. It's one of the sickest golf videos you'll ever see on YouTube. It doesn't get enough shine. Like, people need to fucking watch that thing because it's a movie. I know people like to say zoovie, movie, voovie, all that fucking bullshit, but it's a movie. It's a legit, it's like, we went through like orchestra. We did the whole entire thing. Everything's perfect. We got a narrator, this guy Cheeks McRae. It's incredible. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed doing it, but it was such a time-consuming thing where it was like, if only niche amount of people are going to watch this because they're into like the behind the scenes of golf, it might not even be worth our time and effort. I mean, it took us legit a month of editing where like me and Brendan sat there and stared at every single keyframe to make sure everything was on the beat, and not one camera shot was not used like purposefully in the first episode of.
I just can't get out of my head you wanting to be a producer. You know, you have to like wait for things to come out. I feel like you want us to pump it out. It'd be hard for you,
man. I would love the whole deal, though. I would love everything about it. The music. I'd love to deal with all that shit. I would love to just have a blank canvas and just make a movie. I would want to make like a cool drama movie where everything's very serious. You know.
Can you do it with golf? I mean, I feel like, you know, can you use the
make
platform that we have?
Movie?
Could you make a movie like we write a script? I could help with the script aspect of it for sure. Could we make a movie? I mean, I'm thinking, what's the next step for the brand? What if we made a fucking movie?
The only problem is like you got to maybe make like a comedy, and then it has a chance of just flopping. I don't know if golf can be a
any
drama.
movie has a chance to flop. No?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those St. Andre guys, we gave them a shout out on Part of My Take when we were on there, but like that they do it right. They're like little clips. They're funny. They're golf like situations. And it's like as much as you can consume of like golf comedy when you're acting, I feel like. I don't know if you can't remake a Caddyshack. I don't know if people have the attention span for that anymore. Maybe.
I mean, some of our videos of us playing 9 holes are 2 hours long. You know what I mean?
True. Hey, listen, you don't have to fucking persuade me to go make a movie. Let's get a budget.
You guys know I wrote a pilot. I don't know if I think I told you guys. I think I sent you guys this. I was trying to write like a golf comedy show before Barstool happened. I still have it, so I'll send it to you guys, and we can see if there's anything we want to take from there. But like, I was basically writing the pilot is. The name of it was The Tour, and it was basically just making fun of the PGA Tour and mostly the media who cover it. because I feel like there's all these different power dynamics between like caddies and players and tournament directors and players and writers and other writers and broadcasters and influencers and like this whole crazy world that we all exist in. So I wrote a pilot that was, like a 30-minute slapstick, kind of like a Veep style quick comedy that I haven't really done anything with. So maybe I'll resurface that. Maybe we get into the fiction game.
I mean, I grew up on, and probably all of us grew up on, the Will Ferrell, the Semi-Pro, the Talladega Nights, all those where it's you take a sport and you just make it so absurd, but some of it's true, some of it's not, and that's a great way to make a comedy. Is it that slapstick where it's like a Talladega Nights, or
they're
is
coming
it a
out
little
with that, aren't they?
Well, so there was that Will Ferrell thing, but it got put on hold, I think, with the writer's strike.
Oh, I see. But
remember,
those are so silly, though. Those are very silly. And Veep is silly, but there is an aspect where it's more grounded in reality. Is that kind of what you were shooting for?
I would say it's more, I would say it's more grounded in reality. It's definitely like making fun of golf and like the golf country club culture, but also it's more of like Veep isn't really about politics.
Right.
Like it's more just about power dynamics and like relationships. And I felt like the tour, using quotes, was the same way, where it wasn't really about golf. Like it wasn't so much about like birdies and bogeys. It was more just like, golf is a background for this very intricate world with all these different overlapping and, relationships that get people in weird places.
The Veep angle of a country club show does work.
There's many different characters, dude. And
God.
One guy has power over the other guy, but he has no power over this guy. Like once the guy from the board comes in versus the head pro versus the assistant pro versus the caddy master versus the caddy versus the member.
You got something there.
Yeah.
You got something there. Even like weddings, right? They got to book weddings there. You got an event manager. You've got the bartender. You've got the person in charge of food.
You've got the homeless guy who likes to shoot up heroin on the 14th hole. I mean, there's a lot going on.
And then just like all the members, right? Like, I mean, you got a you've got a show there for sure. I don't even know if you need to incorporate the tour or any of that. I think just like the country club could be a really good show.
So there was this show that was called like Red Oak or Red Hawk or something that came out like 10 years ago that kind of did the country club comedy. I just thought that obviously this job I'm very busy now. And then I thought this Will Ferrell show would just kind of like swallow up all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's going to be, I mean, Will Ferrell is supposed to play like a Kenny Powers meets Phil Mickelson. Like that's going to be really hard. That's going to be really hard to beat that show in terms of golf comedy.
True. Totally. And in terms of casting, that's you're kind of screwed.
Yeah. It's like Will Ferrell's going to play Kenny Powers meets Phil Mickelson. That's
a winner.
That's going to win. People are going to watch that.
People are going to watch that.
Chevy, our best friends. Chevrolet, the bow tie, it's iconic. Chevy. Now, they're working to make charging simple. Over 110,000 charging stations. We talk about it on this show. Riggs is always talking about how we live in the future. I don't really get it. We live in the present. We look toward the future, but the future is here. That's what I'm told. 110,000 charging stations across the U.S. and Canada and growing. My Chevy app, your smartphone. You use the My Chevy app. Your smartphone becomes your co-pilot when using the My Chevrolet mobile app and Energy Assist. The app allows you to access vehicle information like battery status and charging settings from anywhere. That's cool. So you can look at your phone. It's like controlling the lights at your house, but with an electric vehicle on the My Chevy app. The Energy Assist feature intelligently plans your routes, tells you where and how long you charge up, and gives you real-time data about charging station availability. That's genuinely a very useful feature. You just plug it in and they tell you what to do. Home charging also, 3 different levels, 3 different options available. Chevy electric vehicles offer great options for charging. All of them as simple as plugging in your smartphone. Now I understand why they talk about the future. Yeah.
This is the future. I know you get confused about the future. I do as well, but this really is the future. There's going to be charging stations all over the place. I think on a full charge, these Chevy EVs go 400 miles. Like
400.
That's unbelievable. This is the real future. Get on board. And these vehicles, by the way, are unbelievable. We've seen them. We've sat in them. I know Frankie shot a commercial with one of them. These Chevy EVs, if you have not looked into them, go to the website, look into them. You can customize them. You can make them look great. You can make them their own. But again, EVs are the future and Chevy is at the forefront.
They're special vehicles. I'm really jazzed about that feature. You just say, I'm going here. They say, okay, you drive this many miles and you stop here. It's all done for you. Learn more at chevy.com/electric.
What'd you guys do for your 4th of July?
It rained pretty hard in the city, so Emma and I went bowling. Actually, got drunk and went bowling. It was pretty fun.
Very nice.
Yeah,
that sounds pretty nice.
It was
what
good.
Did I do? I just went to Hannah's house, her parents' house, and we just watched fireworks. They're in one of those towns where fireworks just pop off, man. Like it's every person on their block is sending them off, and they have this little like village green area, like on the other side of their house, where everyone goes in there, and it's a professional fireworks show. So we kind of just sat in the backyard, smoked cigars, and just kind of watched the fireworks. There's nothing better than that. If you're not the one setting them off, and you don't have to deal with any of that shit, the setup, blowing your hand off, like possibly igniting the entire fucking town on fire. If you get to just sit back on a lawn chair and just kind of sip on a glass of wine and smoke a cigar and watch just fire go up in the air, it's pretty fucking fun night.
Do you have to keep like 25 feet from it because you're in like a wedding bubble now?
And yeah, right.
We can't have a Justin Tuck or Jason. Was it Justin Tuck or Jason Pierre-Paul?
Jason Pierre-Paul.
JPP.
It was a JPP situation. We can't have that.
I'm definitely on lockdown right now. I mean, there's, I have like limited sun exposure time limits. I've got, I haven't eaten really any real food. Like yesterday, everyone had hot dogs and we had grilled chicken kebabs with fucking green peppers and no salt or any toppings on it. It was just the most plain dinner of all time.
Damn.
How do you feel? Do you feel any better from eating healthy?
I feel unbelievable.
Yeah.
Dude, I wake up, I do crunches. I did like a minute-long plank yesterday and just felt like so good. Yeah, so it's I definitely feel better. I haven't eaten shit. I had a couple slices of pizza the other night at Borelli's tap room because a couple of the Islanders came in and I couldn't not eat that fucking vodka-roni slice. Every time it's in front of me, I got to eat it. So I'm not like getting crazy, but I'm definitely eating better. I think back to what I used to eat like every single day, and it's fucking so different. I mean, I was eating Moe's, Chipotle, bacon, egg, and cheeses, bagels, ice cream, cookies, sugar. I haven't eaten any of that. Any of it in a month, 2 months. I don't even know. I haven't eaten any of it. The last time I had a bacon, egg, and cheese is when I almost puked in Nashville. That was the only time because I was so hungover from Big Rob feeding fucking old fashions down my throat.
Those are all foods that should be hungover foods. Like you really shouldn't have a bacon, egg, and cheese unless it's like, okay, I got after it last night, or you shouldn't have. But then
a sober,
we're adults. A
sober Saturday morning bacon, egg, and cheese is like it's disastrous to the body.
Dude, that's like how I live my life though. And I will say the last couple of days I've been trying to I'm trying to kick sugar again. This is, if you listen to this podcast for the whole time, I've tried to kick sugar 25 times, but I have to because I look at the way that I eat. I've been watching Frankie. We travel so much together that I watch him and I watch what he eats. And the things that he's not eating are the things that I eat every single day. I've been doing it for years. So it's like, where does that lead? It can't lead to a good place.
I'm only doing it because of like the wedding and for photos, but now I think I'm just going to keep with it because I know I'm definitely not going to keep with it as hard as I am, but I do enjoy the feeling that I have right now. I feel awake. I feel more alive. I feel like I'm ready to do stuff. Like even when I'm working out now, it's easier. Like everything I'm doing is easier. I can do way more push-ups. I can do way longer planks. I can do way more pull-ups. I can do all that stuff. So it's just, I feel a little bit better about myself. And then I feel like you're going to enjoy like the cheat meals a little bit more also. Like you look forward to it as opposed to just constantly like we would just sit around. I would just eat Taco Bell because I was lazy to go make a grilled chicken fucking sandwich. And like, that's what I would have every single night. I'd have Taco Bell. I'd have McDonald's. It's like, it adds up. And then you hear that saying over there, like, oh, if you treat your car, like your body, like a car, you only get one car. And like, you're making oil changes and you're replacing the bumper. It's like, sometimes, man, like if you keep putting shit in that gas tank, it's gonna fucking kick out. It's gonna shit the bed.
You see on people's lawns that are rusted out and they don't run. They've been there for decades. That's my body. That's my body in that front yard because, I don't change the oil. I don't rotate the tires. I don't get it detailed. I just treat it like shit every day. And then I wake up and I'm like, I feel like shit. And it's like, yeah, dude, you wonder why, because all you eat is sugar. That's all that I eat. So
I got a question for you, Frankie, because I think I'm beginning to have a bit of an unhealthy relationship with food where it's sort of like the thing that I look forward to most. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I mean, we had this conversation, I think on the podcast, we were talking about trying to get Frankie into smoking weed. And I said that like the only thing that like if you took food away, I don't even think I would like enjoy it that much, but it's like, I'm so excited. And like yesterday, I remember at bowling, I was like, all right, I'm going to drink 3 more beers because when we order this Chinese food, it's going to fucking smack really hard. Everything in my life sort of is building up to food. Right now I've put on a few pounds. I see it in the videos. I see it on the scales. I've definitely put on a few. What do you look forward to? Because without that piece, I'm like, what? I don't know if this is just married life, but like, I guess you feel better, but that's not something I can get like excited for. That's something that's like in the background. I'm like, how can I give up this stoned Chinese food? Like what do I fill that void in my life with?
That's such a good
Somehow,
question.
some way, my brain has switched it into I'm looking forward to finding a good tasting, healthy meal. Every menu we go on, I'm like, oh, that actually sounds really good. And something I would never order. The salmon or the Chilean sea bass that has peas as opposed to like the fucking double-decker cheeseburger that's on the menu. And you eat it and you're like, that was a fucking good meal. And then you go out and maybe you have a glass of wine or like a Tito's and soda. And you're just like, all right, I feel way better than all my friends that are sitting at this table right now that had the bacon, egg, and cheeseburger. They're drinking beer and they're like, I want to go home and take a nap. You're like,
See, now you're
fine.
like the I'm better than you. Now you're going for the I'm better than you.
No,
angle, which I don't like.
I'm on your side also. It's killing me, but like you do at the end, when everyone got ice cream in Nashville, it was the hardest 10 minutes of my entire life.
He's on his high horse.
No,
he's loving this.
No, it was the hardest 10 minutes of my life. I had to legitimately walk away. I couldn't even fathom that these guys were eating the thing that I love to live to eat. But at the end of that, I like didn't have to go to the bathroom. I didn't have to shit my pants. Everything about it after, once you make it through it, I think you actually feel pretty good. Last night, I got the urge to get Ralph's Italian Ices. We had that shitty fucking grilled chicken meal. I watched everyone eat hot dogs and mustard and ketchup and sauerkraut and relish and all that shit.
On the 4th of July.
On the 4th of July. And I ate grilled chicken and fucking pepper kebabs, right?
Yeah,
so I'm sitting there. And I'm fucking looking at these people and I'm saying, I want ice cream tonight. I deserve it. I said, I deserve ice cream tonight. And you know what we ended up doing? They're like, if you just eat this watermelon right now, it will just, that craving that you have right now to like crunch on something cold and sugary will be gone. And I had a bunch of pieces of watermelon and I was done. It was over. I didn't think about it anymore. The thing that I wanted was cured. It was craved.
Dan, what it might boil down to is vanity. You want to look better. You will look better.
I'm married.
I'm aware of that.
That's a trump card. What are you going to say now?
Yeah.
I will say what Frankie's saying. It is amazing how stupid your brain is when you want ice cream and you just want it so badly, and then you end up eating like a couple pieces of fruit. You don't even think about it. Like the thought that I have to have a chocolate sundae with peanut butter sauce and like Reese's Pieces bits in it, and that's the only thing that's going to satiate this craving for sugar that I have. And then you eat a piece of watermelon, and you're like, I'm fine. So you don't.
I don't know.
I'm with you. I'm largely with you because I look forward to food more than everything. Like the end of the night is here. I've made it through another godforsaken day on this godforsaken earth.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have a bunch of candy, and that makes me feel better. I don't know what the solution to that is because food is the thing that keeps me alive.
There's like there's a ninja like creamer thing that makes ice cream at home. And there's a guy on Instagram. It's called like, I don't know what his fucking name is. He's got all these under 200 flexible dieting lifestyles, his Instagram. And he's got all these under 300 calorie ice creams, and he'll go to fucking Chick-fil-A and he'll get the lemonade from there and he'll pour it into this little quart, and he'll put sugar and all this stuff in there, and he just freezes it and puts it in this creamer, and then it's like a sorbet, and he's eating it every single night, and it's healthy. So there are ways to scratch that itch. It just takes a little bit more time instead of just going to Carvel and Ralph's and having just the straight sugar injected into your veins, which is what we love to do. It's what we live to do. It's just
I think it's even harder in New York too. I think it's even harder in New York when there's so many options within walking distance would just satiate that craving, where Emma will be like, oh, should we cook? And I'm like, or we could fire up DoorDash and there's 5,000 options that will be here within 30 minutes that are all going to taste way better than anything you're going to make. They just are.
I will say my mornings are much better when I'm eating healthy. Like I've been eating healthy for 3 days and my mornings are no longer an emergency. Like I wake up usually and I'm like, I got to shit now. Has to happen. Dan Soder's got that joke where he's like, if you eat late, you will wake up with the heartburn of like a 25-year homicide detective. And that's how I feel every morning. I wake up and I'm like,
his joke is so good.
And it's burning.
How did they do it?
He's sitting there grabbing his chest. They
And
killed all those children. He's sitting
So
in
again,
his chest.
it's not as sexy as, every night I get to eat chocolate sundae, but my mornings when I don't do that are so much better. I feel better. It's not I have to take a shit immediately. So it's little wins. It's not going to be a big win, unfortunately.
Yeah, I in my head, I have I'm still under 30 bit. You know what I mean? So in my head, 30 is a big number where, I'll just quit, vaping and nicotine and I'll just become like a superhuman at age 30. The problem with that is that age 30 comes and then you don't do it and then you really feel like a fuck up. But the wedding is come and gone because Emma and I were both talking about, we're going to do all these wedding diets, and neither of us did anything. We just accepted the way we were going to look at our wedding. And now it's like, I don't really have anything on the horizon to get up for.
But if you don't think I'm gonna like overdose on food on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I mean, we're going to like Coney Island on Tuesday. We're getting as many hot dogs as we possibly can. We're doing the whole bit. I mean, I'm gonna eat. I'm having Taco Bell. I want it, but I do think if I can keep this, if you can keep it in moderation, that's the best way to live. I think like health in moderation. I don't know if that's the way that the doctors would say it, but for me, I think I'm gonna try and do that.
Well, that's how I look at it. I look at 100% of the time in the past, I am eating like garbaggio. I'm just eating whatever I want all the time. All of my impulses are met. I'm like, I want this, so I'm going to have it 100% of the time. I don't think you have to go 100% in the other direction. I think you can go 50-50, start slow, go 25-75, keep it moving. And then eventually, hopefully the goal is that you don't crave those things that you were craving 100% of the time. Now you're craving them 10% of the time or 5% of the time. That's it. And it's easy. It sounds easy, but it's fucking hard. But I think that's the way you got to do it. If you want to be healthy, if you want to look a little bit better, again, you're talking to a guy who's 265 pounds. Like, what advice can you really glean from me? But that's the way that I would look at it.
Yeah, I think you're
and
right.
You also see these athletes, like, at Borelli's Tap Room the other night, we had a couple of guys that are they're built like gods, and they're able to just eat like pretzels and nachos and pizza.
Well, they work out like crazy.
They work out like crazy, but the rest of their day also, they just they probably just pay attention a little bit more. They wake up, they have like eggs, and then they have grilled chicken and they have quinoa instead of rice. And like throughout their day, they're just kind of eating better food. And then at night, whenever they go out on a Saturday, they can eat like 9 slices of pizza and drink heavy beer. And then they're just fine because they have made their body a little bit better.
Yeah. It just can't be your everyday situation.
Right.
The bullshit.
Yeah.
It can't
make it worth something looking forward to. Something that's worth looking forward to is tonight. Breaking 90 is back.
Wow.
The biggest show in golf YouTube is back. It's a massive episode. It's the first video after the horrific 18.
The great freeze of 2023.
The great freeze, the great top at Rockville Links. We were out in California to film this one. It's a totally different setting. The vibes were off the charts. It was it's hard to promote Breaking 90.
Just watch it. Yep. That's it. We're done. I'm done dancing around it. Just watch it. The last one got 500,000 views. All those people just show back up again. And people love it. It's a great show. We have a great time. It's fun to film. We have a really good time doing it. I love it. Frankie loves it. Just watch it. That's it.
Tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern, we'll premiere it. We're all going to be in the chat. Make sure you're there. We want you in there. I want to get that premiere number as high as possible. Let's show everybody why Breaking 90 is the best. It's a man just trying to achieve the lowest score of his life, and he counts every single stroke, USGA rules, and it's an incredible series. So make sure you're there tonight. I want to go. Oh, before we get to we have a bunch of guys lining up right now in the phone lines. Did I lose you guys here? Did I lose Trent?
No, I'm here. I don't know if Trent's gone.
We lost Trent.
I just think it's so fun. So how many guys do you have? There's probably like 10 guys who are waiting now or something.
Yeah, we got a bunch of guys waiting.
This is what I'm saying about the patience piece that I don't know if you have for the movie. You put that thing out, and 1 minute later you go, I haven't gotten a single DM. I haven't gotten a single DM. It's been like 25 minutes, and there's like 10 grown men.
Oh, I got waiting. At least 50, I've got 50 DMs right now.
Okay, 50 DMs. You guys should. I wish we could rewind to 30 minutes ago, and Frankie's like, I mean, we're nothing. There's not a single person who's in the DMs here. I mean, we just can't we can't get a live call in.
Yeah, no, it's I have a problem when it comes to patience. Trent is out of the building. He's left.
Game Time is the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports, created by fans for fans. Game Time is the ticketing app that makes it easier than ever to score last-minute deals on tickets to sports, concerts, shows. We're in the dog days of summer. There's nothing like it. There's just nothing like wearing a t-shirt and shorts and flip-flops at a concert, drinking beers with your friends, and Game Tide guarantees the lowest prices. A must-see summer event. I've been wanting to go to a baseball game. I feel like baseball games in the summer is kind of a classic. Mets game, a Yankee game. What do you think, Trent?
There's a few tours going on right now. I'm recently gotten this band, the Turnpike Troubadours. Have you heard of them?
No, but that sounds like something I might be interested in.
They're very good, and they're on tour now. They just released a bunch of dates, and I think they're coming near me in the near future. And I'm going to use Game Time to go to their concert. I went to a Nas concert thanks to Game Time like 7 months ago. Me and Noah from Chicks in the Office. It was like it happened to the last second. I was like, oh my gosh, Nas is in town. We want to go. Game Time. We went on there. We got tickets, and we went. It's always the right decision. Like you're saying with a baseball game or a concert. Just go do stuff. Instead of sitting inside, not doing anything, being bored, go on the Game Time app, get your tickets, and make a memory. That's what you got to do.
It's possible with the Game Time app. The biggest last-minute price drops can be found on the seats you thought you could never buy. So the purchase process takes just 2 taps and 10 seconds. Once you buy your tickets, they're delivered directly to your phone. No printer needed. This is a new age company. They understand how people work. And people don't have time to print stuff. So the app also allows you to easily share tickets with friends via text. So you can get to the game seamlessly. Skip the hassle. Enjoy the moment. Download the Game Time app or go to the website, enter your email, and redeem code FORE, F-O-R-E, like Foreplay the podcast, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply.
I want to say real quick before we get to the calls, I want to talk about Rickie Fowler for a second. We haven't really talked about him. Dan, an amazing, Rickie Fowler is back. I mean, I think it's easy to say that now. I felt like it was kind of dirty to say that because he hadn't really eclipsed what he wanted to do eclipse. He was falling short. He was in the mix, and now Rickie Fowler is officially back, and he did it in orange. He fucking did it in orange.
He did it in orange. I saw a couple clips of you saying you should get rid of the orange resurfaced on Sunday evening.
It's a loser color if you're being, and that's coming from a guy who has orange and blue all over his fucking little office here. Orange just doesn't hit as hard as the other colors. It's like it's the Knicks, it's the Mets, it's Denver the Islanders.
Broncos.
The Broncos have been. I mean, yeah, they won with Peyton Manning, but like they kind of suck.
Texas Longhorns. I feel like orange is a fine color when it comes to sports.
Again, Texas Longhorns like don't really get it done that often. You know what I mean? There's a lot of misery and despair with the Longhorns. A lot of horns down.
There is a lot of horns down. Yes, Rickie's back. I would say we're comfortable saying he's back because it's not like he was winning majors before.
Right.
So it's not a shot at Rickie, but he's back to being the figure that he was, which is he's going to finish in the top 10 of the pit this year, maybe even in the top 5. He's that big of a star, whether you like it or not. You just look at the guys who were tweeting, like Lil Wayne tweeted, "Congratulations, Rickie Fowler. Like I'm wearing my orange or whatever." I don't want to curse because this is a family show. But when you got a guy like Lil Wayne who's noticing the Rocket Mortgage Classic or Challenge Classic, Rocket Mortgage Classic, I think, and is firing up his Twitter to reach out to a PGA Tour player. That doesn't happen with the Rocket Mortgage Classic with any other guy, really. So, yeah, I mean, Rickie is obviously moves the needle in a huge way. Nice to see him back. We got Trent back. I will say one thing, and I'm turning into a bit of a curmudgeon, I think, now that I'm on this side, kind of outside the whole like media ecosystem echo chamber. All the people who are like, "Oh my God, I can't believe Rickie, like he went through so much and he could have just rode off into the sunset." Like he was 34 years old. Like, we're saying that he was just going to retire. Like that would have been like a reasonable move. Was just like, oh, he was once the number 7 golfer in the world. Now he's number 130. So yep, just fucking give it up. Right off into the sunset. People were acting like he got his leg amputated and he somehow came back to play professional golf when he had billions of dollars in the bank. Like, it's a great comeback. It's nice that he wasn't playing so well and now he's playing really well again. But to make this into like a unbelievable triumph of perseverance and through the jaws of defeat, like, no, he was playing shitty for a little while and now he's playing well again. It's great to have him back, but I don't think we need to make this into like a hero's return situation.
Also, how great is talent? Being talented has got to be the best thing in the world. Just being able to go through not playing well and then just figuring a few things out and still having the talent to win a golf tournament on the PGA Tour, which is arguably impossible. Like if you go through the numbers, like when you're born, the chances you're going to win a PGA Tour event are basically 0. So the fact that you can come back from being good at it and then going through a bit of a lull and then being good at it again, talent is an amazing thing. And I don't know how much you guys have talked about it because my iMac died it ceased to exist for a few seconds and then it came back on. But I've been taking like little weird shots at Rickie for the past few months while he's been playing well because of the Tillery connection. I know Tillery loves Rickie. I'm just fucking around. But when he made that putt, that celebration,
that was cool.
That won me back over. I'm all the way back in because an athlete like that showing that it means something to them and showing without verbally saying it, just like, I have been through it. And I know you were just saying like, he's Rickie Fowler. He's probably had $400 million for the last 10 years. Like he's going to be all right. But just knowing that even something like that can still mean something, money aside, all of it aside, the fact that like he felt it. He felt that monkey on his back for years. He knew people were talking about it. His friends are becoming the greatest golfers in the game. And for some reason, he is stuck in neutral for whatever reason that it is. And then for him to feel all of that and show it all come off of him once he makes that putt, I thought that was very cool. He's
cool. He's cool. He's got a cool factor. Obviously, I mean, that reaction was very, very cool, very memeable. I saw a lot of videos of being like, what was he looking at? And then it was like, Chubbs Peterson and Happy Gilmore were in the sky clapping, which was really funny. I mean, I remember a couple weeks ago when he was at LACC, and the guy was like, "What are you doing, Rickie?" And he was like, he gave him like the shrug. Like that was cool. I think he's just cool. He looks cool when he does things. That's why they want him in all his commercials. He's a good actor. He's a really good actor.
It's good. It's a cool factor when you're winning. When you're not winning, you seem a little aloof and you're kind of like, does this guy actually want it? We don't know. But then when you win and you just see all of that baggage come off of him, it's very cool. It's a very, very cool golf moment.
It's amazing. Yeah. I think we live in a world where everything is so overreacted. I'm probably number one in that, where you have the biggest overreactions for the littlest things. You watch anytime the New York Islanders score a goal, I act like they just won the Stanley Cup. And to see a guy that wins something that meaningful to him just kind of be like calm, cool, and collected and just celebrate within his own brain, really, it's just like, fuck yes. That was really cool and refreshing to see. It's just different. And Rickie's always just been different. He's kind of just built differently. He's got a different vibe to him. He's got a different brand. And he's great for the game of golf. I think when Rickie's playing well, golf is in a better place. So it's exciting to see him. I mean, the guy is going to be on the Ryder Cup team. I mean, how do you not pick Rickie Fowler for the Ryder Cup?
You're going to pick him. He's obviously best friends with the core group. They want him there. He'll be there.
So good.
It was a great week for longevity in golf. Bernhard Langer got 65 years old. This guy won another major. The guys had time to win 12 senior majors. He's won 12. He's well into
How many wins
digits.
does he have on the senior tour?
40,
like 45?
46. He just broke the record. Like, who has time to win 46 golf tournaments after turning 50? Most of these guys, they do all of their eating on the Champions Tour right after they turn 50. We saw Phil won his first couple events. Podrick Harrington, our guy, has been an absolute force out there. You know, usually they're 50, 51. They're still playing PGA Tour events. They still have all that speed. They beat up on the younger guys. No. Grandpa Bernhard, he's almost 66. He's 65 years and 10 months old. He's the oldest winner of the U.S. Senior Open by 8 years. So the records just keep coming. I'm going to say this, and I don't mean this in a mean way. I think he would agree. He looks old. I don't know if you guys have seen him in person recently. It's not like, you walk by Phil, who's obviously in shape now. You walk by Potter Harrington, who's, still hits the ball a long way. You're like, oh, these guys, they don't look out of place on him. If you saw Bernhard Langer on a PGA Tour range right now, you'd be like, who's that old man? He looks old. He's very skinny, obviously very strong. Kick my ass on the golf course, whatever. Yeah, I'm saying he doesn't look all that young. It's amazing what he's doing. I want to add one note here. I would like to see a little more room between the left hand and the chest when he's putting.
Oh wow.
I like to see a little bit more room. I'm not saying he's anchoring. I'm just saying I'd like to see a little daylight. I'm not really seeing any daylight, but an incredible accomplishment from Bernhard Langer.
Is he
65 years old?
Does he have the most senior majors ever?
Everything.
He's got them all.
Gary Player won nine senior majors, and then like a normal person was like, I'm done. But Bernhard, I don't know if he hates his grandkids or he's still out there winning tournaments. It's
How
insane.
Is he doing it? Is it like, what's the best part of his game? Because I'll be honest, I don't watch the senior Open.
He doesn't miss. He doesn't miss. He's
obviously not hitting as far as these guys, right?
No,
he's just
he
dialed
hit it
into the
far.
pin.
He doesn't miss, and then he makes all his putts, which is why I'm saying I'd like to see just a little bit more room. This is not an accusation. All I'm saying is I wish there was a little bit more room.
How far is he hitting his drives?
That's a good question. I'm going to see if I can get a little.
To know.
I mean, he's made the cut in the Masters like a couple recent times, but it's not like it's not like Padraig where if he has a good week, he'll finish like 5th on the European Tour. Like that's not happening with Bernhard. Like his game wins on the Champions Tour and it fucking wins on the Champions.
He's got to be hitting a 280, right?
I don't know, man.
Let's try this.
Deep. That
really?
seems like I think that dude. He's
267. It looks like on average.
267
this year. He's like 60th in the.
Okay,
on the Champions Tour.
His driving distance. Yeah, he's average on the Champions Tour. His driving distance, according to this golf.com article, last week was 244, which was 20 yards shorter than average. So he's not hitting it that far.
Right. So he's just got to be a magician on the greens, around the greens with his
doesn't
iron.
Miss. Yeah, he hits it dead straight, and then he putts with a technique that I'm not a huge fan of, but not taking anything away from him. The guy's won 12 majors as a he won two Masters. What a strange career. He's got 2 Masters and he's got 12 majors since he turned.
He really hit his stride post 50.
It's crazy.
We talked about Rickie possibly definitely on the US Ryder Cup team. When you look at the European team rankings, it goes Jon Rahm, Rory McIlroy, and then Yannick Paul. Can you talk to us about this Paul fella and what we're expecting to see out of this guy? Because he's going to be on the team, right?
Yeah, so it's the European qualification system is a little fakakta. So there's 2 lists. You're looking at the European list. There's also the world list. So I believe that there's 3 guys who get in on the European list, which is basically only European Tour events, which is why Mr. Yannick Paul is flying so high, because he's had a nice German guy. He's had a nice year on the European Tour. If you look at the world list, it's kind of more based on the world rankings, and it's more of the players that you'd see. But yeah, there's always like 1 or 2 guys who make it because they've had a nice year on the European Tour. Bernd Wiesberger made it a couple years ago. Victor Perez was like almost that guy. So yeah, Yannick's going to make it. But the European team has a really arguably a stronger core than the American. That's what Kirk was saying. Where like 1 through 4, they've got Rahm, Rory, Hovland, and then you could either say Hatton or Fitz or Fleetwood. So they've got a good team. They've got a really good 1 through 8. Like Shane Lowry's had a good year.
Yeah.
Hatton, Tommy Fleetwood's playing nice. This guy Ludwig could very well make the team. So
Sergio not going to be picked.
I don't know. No. So that's also a difference is the Americans who are playing live are still eligible. So I mean, it seems like Brooks, I think Brooks is still 3rd in points, which is crazy because he's only played 3 events. But Brooks will probably be on the team, and DJ has a chance, or I guess Taylor Gooch has a chance, because those guys, I don't know exactly why, but they're still PGA members. In order to be on the European Ryder Cup team, you have to be a member of the tour, of the DP World Tour, and all those guys said no because they don't want to pay the fines. So like Sergio, Poulter, Westwood, those guys are no longer members of the DP World Tour, so they're not eligible. So it's going to be that whole group of like Stenson, Casey, those guys are gone. So it's going to be all a new set.
I did see that Sergio and Rory buried the hatchet. They seem to be buddies again. That's right.
Yeah. He said he got a friend back.
Got his friend back, which was very nice. Could they still be? I mean, I don't know that this would happen, but like, could they be assistant captains?
I don't know if there's a rule against I don't know. I mean, Henrik was the captain and they kicked him out. So yeah, that's going to look back. That's going to be one of those things where we look back in a couple of years and we're like, remember when they stripped him of the captaincy and they made a deal like 8 months later?
Yeah.
That's
a short end of the stick if you think about it.
I don't know, because I do think he kind of used the Ryder Cup captaincy as a bargaining chip to get a fatter deal from Liv, which is not the most stand-up guy. Like, there's no way he was getting the same deal if he wasn't the Ryder Cup captain.
He has denied those accusations, but I bet there's some truth to it.
I mean, come on. Like, you think he's, I'm 48 years old, over-the-hill European player who's won a major in the past, or I'm the Ryder Cup captain. You want to make a real narrative fuck you? Make me an offer.
True. That is very true. I'm loving the way it's shaping up, though. We did think at one point that the Ryder Cup was going to be a dud. I remember people talking about that. We said that on this very show, that we were a little bit nervous that the USA was just going to go in and steamroll Europe, and that it was just going to become this like thing that no one really wanted to watch anymore because the fucking PGA and Live and all this stuff messed it up. But it's shaping up to be a great event in Rome, and I think if we can figure out the time slots and when we're going to actually watch this thing, it's going to be a great event. It's going to be like 3 o'clock in the morning, right?
Oh,
Yeah, that early Thursday or early Friday is going to probably start at like 2 or 3 a.m.
Remember, when they were in France, I was like, I could barely keep my eyes open for those first tee shots. I was like, this is fucking stupid.
That's what sucks is the first tee shots where it's supposed to be like, this is the moment that guys talk about in their careers. I'm going to be in a REM cycle. Like, there's just no way. I mean, I'll get up. I will wake up because it'll be worth it. But no, it takes a little bit away from it for us Americans. And I know that's selfish. And I know people say Americans are selfish. In this regard, I agree because I want the Ryder Cup to be on at times when I'm awake.
You know what REM stands for?
Rapid eye movement.
Yeah. What is that? It's just like your eyes are going crazy. So you're actually...
I think they're closed.
They're closed, but they you can sort of see them moving under the skin.
What's actually happening there? Why is that produce more rejuvenation
the dreams are vivid. I wear this Whoop, been wearing it for years, and I can tell when I wake up and I was just in a REM cycle, I know it, and I'll check, and it'll say that you were in a REM cycle because my dreams are extremely vivid when I'm in a REM cycle. It's just a deeper sleep.
Sleep is so weird to me.
Oh, sleep is the weirdest. You're not going to get to the bottom of it. Me.
We just kind of turn it off for 8 hours.
Pete Holmes has a great joke about it where he's talking about if aliens ever visited, and they're asking us questions like, how do you guys get energy? And he's like, well, we eat food and just that's kind of how we go about it. And the alien's like, that's great. And then they're like, anything else? And he's like, for 8 hours, we just shut it down. We just, there's no matter how much energy and food we consume for 8 hours, we shut it down. And there's no explanation really. If you go far enough into sleep, if you research it enough, at the end of it, we don't really know why.
It's a mystery.
It is a mystery. It's one I'm not willing to dive into right now because I don't think we'll get to the bottom of it.
It's hot. It's July. You might be feeling overheated after a long day on the course, recovering from an intense workout, or maybe you're dehydrated after a long night out. It happens. It's summer. When water alone won't do the trick, we have the solution for you. It's BioLite. BioLite, the IV in a bottle. It's unlike any other hydration drink out there. It is the singular clinical hydration drink with as many electrolytes as a bag of IV. That's right. We're talking serious hydration power here. It was created by an anesthesiologist who saw firsthand the need for better hydration when his wife was battling cancer and struggling to keep up with her chemo treatments due to dehydration. He knew something just had to change. It had to change. Water, sports drinks, other electrolyte products, they weren't cutting it. So he created BioLite, a physician-formulated hydration drink packed with electrolytes and all-natural ingredients like B vitamins, milk thistle, vitamin C, and ginger root that help combat headaches, nausea, and fatigue associated with dehydration. You'd have to drink, think about this for a second, Trent. You'd have to drink 6.5 sports drinks just to match the electrolytes in one bottle of BioLite. Why would you do that?
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just drink one of these, and they've got great flavors. They got a new punch flavor that I am obsessed with. We go to these Barstool Classics, guys go out the night before, they have a few drinks, they wake up early the next morning, they need to be rehydrated, and they drink a BioLite, and they're good to go. BioLite, it really is the truth. If you are dehydrated in any situation, drink a BioLite, and you are going to be good to go.
So next time you're in need of serious hydration, grab an ice-cold BioLite, drink the entire bottle, and in just 30 minutes or less, your body will receive the same rejuvenation as an IV rehydration therapy. Trust us, it works wonders. We're on the move all the time. We're hot in the summer playing golf. We use BioLite for a limited time. Just a limited time. Use code SUMMER, all caps, SUMMER, SUMMER, to get free shipping on your next order of BioLite at drinkbiolite.com.
We do have a bunch of people waiting on the lines. I don't know if you guys want to get into anything more pressing for the golf. I know John Deere Classic is coming up, Trent. That's just a kind of a fart in the wind, if you ask me. I don't know if we have to really spend too much time on this huge golf podcast talking about it.
It's so unimportant to you that you planned your wedding that weekend. Like, you didn't even think oh, maybe we'll be doing some content at the John Deere Classic. You're like, well, I'm going to get married that weekend because that's when there's a break.
It's an off week.
It's the dead weekend. It's the dead weekend.
That's fucking great. Caitlin Clark is out there right now.
It's one
of the biggest stars in college
Where are you?
sports.
Why aren't you there? If it's such a big week.
It's a good question. I probably should be there.
So Iowa, Caitlin Clark is there.
I planted
Illinois, but
I moved around some soil in the backyard yesterday. I got my fix at the John Deere Classic. I did. Right. I fucking worked on my backyard enough. I don't need to fucking deal with all the tractors and all that shit.
Is the designated event thing, is there a possible that it's like a fluid that they'll like tag one each year? Like there'll be like a moving designated event. Is that something that could happen?
I think they want to eventually have them be like kind of set in stone so that the fans know like, oh, this is a big week, that's a big week. But I think with what's going on now, like all of that's just basically gone to the wind. I think there's no like plan. I think everything's just kind of
right. Are designated events even going to be a thing?
Yeah, they're going to be a thing in 24. The 24 schedule, 23, 24 schedule is going to come out soon here. And I think it'll look very similar to this year. Obviously, no fall schedule. That's the big difference.
If there were if there were a rotating designated event, just one a year, I think that'd be great. Maybe do a fan vote, maybe do something where everybody knows in advance before the season, we are going to have the designated event vote. And you vote what event that doesn't have one currently gets one this year. And I think John Deere Classic wins in a runaway. I think I could garner enough support. I think I can mobilize. I would literally campaign. I would get a bus and I would campaign around the country and have people vote for the John Deere Classic for the rotating designated event. I think that's something that should happen, but it's not up to me.
You're going to pay do the fans also come up with the extra $15 million or whatever it needs to be to make it, to jump the purse up, or those are just details that you don't
I'm not a money guy. I'm an idea guy. And right now the idea is have every event that doesn't have a designated event designation.
Too many designated designation.
That was too much. But whatever events don't have that, we all campaign and it's a fan vote. And I will stuff the ballot box if I have to.
Oh, dude,
harvesting.
You know what's coming out? Oh, no pun intended. Harvest corn.
John Deere Classic is a great event, and if you're in the area, it's great. It's everyone should go. It's really they do a bang up job.
So shout out to Zach Johnson. You know what? I didn't even. It would have been a perfect segue into. You know what's coming out today is our sweepstakes with All True to get a chance to win a trip to the Ryder Cup. Have you heard about this, Danny?
No, talk to me.
All right. So we are partnering with All True and Folds of Honor Foundation. Folds of Honor is amazing. They give scholarships to military families. And it's an amazing foundation. Obviously, military, we love to support all that stuff. So now we've partnered with All True, where if you give a minimum of $10 donation, you have an entry in to win. And listen to all this. The winner will get you and a guest will get flown out there to Rome. Airfare. You'll get a 4-star hotel in the heart of Rome. You're going to get grounds passes for Saturday and Sunday at the Ryder Cup. And you're going to get a Ryder Cup swag bag, all just from donating to this link that I'm about to say. It's alltrue.com/foreplay. If you enter in there, so it's $10 for an entry, and then however much more you put in as your entry, that's as many more entries as you get. So let's say you put $1,000 in compared to the 10, you're going to get more entries. I will say that the winner's not being based off the highest bidder. It's a randomized winner at the end, but you get more entries for the more money you put in. Make sure that we raise a bunch of money. We're working with our good friend Kyle Rudolph on this. He's been very good to us. We would love to be able to raise a bunch of money for Folds of Honor Foundation and for All True to be able to say, hey, people want to go to the Ryder Cup. It's a trip of a lifetime. And we also were a part of raising a ton of money for military families and scholarships and all that stuff. So make sure you click that link, alltrue.com. It's an amazing /foreplay. It's an amazing sweepstakes. Listen, I mean, somebody's going to win that thing, and that's a hell of a trip. That's
a hell of a trip.
You're getting flown to Rome for the Ryder Cup with you and a
4-star
friend.
Hotel?
Right in the middle. It said in the heart of Rome. Transportation, grounds passes, all that stuff done. Just pack your bags. You're heading to Rome in September. The weather's beautiful. I'll be there for my honeymoon right after it. It's going to be beautiful. I'll go grab a drink with you if you stay after.
I'll be there for the week. I'll grab a drink with you as well. I'm going to the Ryder Cup for this podcast. Yeah,
you are.
I'm not going to the Open, but I'm going to the Ryder Cup. That felt like the right choice
for sure.
Yeah. I agree.
Last year the Open was obviously you guys were there for like the front end, right? You guys did your Scotland trip. I remember. Yeah, I was in my heavy flirt stage at this point last year.
That's right.
I'd send Riggs a text every week, be like, "Hey, what's going on?
What's the deal?"
But yeah, the Open's actually not great to cover, in my opinion, as a journalist.
Why?
The access is not very good. The Masters is its own thing. So with no inside the ropes and no, it's like it's the Masters. You got to be there. It's the Super Bowl of our sport. the PGA and the USGA, the PGA of America and the USGA are awesome. They let us go on the driving range. They let us talk to guys during rounds. You know, there's kind of a anything goes kind of at media atmosphere. I don't know if you guys know that, but like you could, and if you notice that, you could post videos and stuff from the practice rounds. Like you couldn't do, and the PGA Tour, they slap your wrist for everything. The Open is a lot more similar to the PGA Tour, but even worse in the sense of we can't walk anywhere. Like they're very strict about where you can, you can't go inside the ropes more than like actually like being able to touch the rope, and you can't really see anything. And it's very expensive, like way more expensive than the Ryder Cup for whatever reason. So I'm missing the Open for the first time in a little while. It's okay. Life goes on, but I'll be at the Ryder Cup.
Yeah, I think that's the right call.
Ryder Cup. Hopefully you get there. All true. It's ALLTROO, I believe. Yep. All true. TROO. And make sure you go there /4play. Like I said, a lot of people are going to be entering that thing, and you might as well. $10 minimum donation. Get in the mix. All right, guys, what do you say we get to these callers? We're just going to kind of kick it around a little behind the greens. We're kind of just doing this off the fly, and I think we're just going to start. I think we're going to start with
do we have questions, or are we just kind of shooting the shit?
No, we're going to see what these guys do. I think we're going to start with this Timothy Shanley.
He's not in the lobby anymore.
He's not in the lobby anymore. He fucking left. Well, that guy has a history of leaving.
Are you sure
he says, no, hold on. He said he was fucking a club pro for 15 years, and he just hung it up because he just couldn't take it anymore. He says he would love to talk with you guys about the industry, but he just couldn't take it anymore. He could not take the lobby anymore. Couldn't take the lobby anymore either. So Timothy Shanley's just
Tom
a guy.
just left too.
Timothy Chalamet.
Sounds like we're losing people by the second.
Yeah,
anybody in the lobby?
Get someone in here, Bush.
Well, unfortunately, we had people waiting for like 45 minutes because we were just talking, but we got Jackson, I think. Jackson's on the phone lines, and I will get more people in here. Those people are dead to me, and I'll just get more people in here. We'll talk to Jackson.
Timothy, you got to just stick it out for just little longer, buddy.
So Jackson Hamlin is a soon-to-be club pro. He's in school for it right now. He's worked at Shinnecock. He's worked at Plainfield, and he's in the Jim McLean Golf School, and I want to talk to him about what it's like to be in the golf school to become a teaching pro.
Wait, is this the Jim McLean Golf School in Florida? Is that where he's studying?
We're gonna find out if you're gonna get some Wi-Fi.
Oh my God, Hamlin! I lived on Hamlin Street for 2 years in college.
Whoa!
No way.
Yeah, gotta get
Hamlin.
Gotta get the etymology of that last name.
You ever think about all the old places that you lived, and you think about like who's living there now, what's going on there? I think about that a lot, actually.
Yeah, these are just students. These are just Northwestern students, I'm sure, who are living there now, probably having a great time. How
close is the Northwestern campus to Chicago?
Like 20, like no traffic, like 25, 30 minutes.
So when you're at Northwestern, are you exclusively partying in Chicago?
Yeah, well, I was in a fraternity that we got kicked off my freshman year. So by the time we were juniors and seniors, we had like no on-campus life. So yeah, we would just go out in Chicago. And this was about, Ubers were like $25 split 4 ways.
Right.
It was like $6 to go downtown. So we went downtown pretty much exclusively.
We got a couple good ones in here. We got the super at Whisper Rock that wants to call in, which is just a fucking.
I think Jackson's had his chance.
Jackson Hamlin, if you're a student of the game, you're trying to become a pro, you got to get better Wi-Fi. It's just as simple as that. Alex, do we have anyone else in there that is waiting to be on the show?
Yeah, Tom just came back in.
Tommy.
Jackson's is like bugged. It's not even letting me kick him to like get him back.
Jackson's here to stay.
Jackson's a fucking mole.
He might just be. He might be here.
So Jackson Hamlin has infested us with some sort of Russian hacking spy.
He's got a no laying up profile picture. Now I understand why.
This is spyware.
Yeah, he's a hacker. Jackson's a hacker. All that stuff he made up. For
Shinnecock.
Sure.
Yeah, we think the Shinnecock Club Pro is fucking.
He capitalized cock on it. I should have known.
He wrote shiny cock.
Come on, Frankie. You got to vet these guys a little better than that. If guys, he's like Shinnecock, and he's like, these guys don't know what the fuck's going on.
So this is
coming in there.
Who do we have in here? Who's
Tom?
Thomas?
Tom's ready now.
All right, we got Thomas.
And Jackson's gonna hang.
This is Tom Pastorino.
Jackson's on the podcast now.
Yeah, he's gonna pop up wearing an anonymous mask.
Is this something that Alex is doing wrong that we can't talk to any of these guys?
What would I be doing wrong?
I don't know, but why aren't they?
I'm just clicking accept.
The barrel
maybe they waited so long that it lagged out. Oh, here. You should be here in a sec.
These golf guys got no Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I mean, they're out in the field. They're just out there.
I think it's Bush's fault. I'm starting to think it's Bush's fault.
Something's got to give.
Did you see that your guy Alex Bush played Quaker Ridge?
Yeah, with me.
Oh, it was with you.
invited you guys to play on Saturday.
Well, he tweeted like, "Oh, don't tell Danny Rapp that I'm out at Quaker Ridge." The joke flew 10,000 feet over my head.
Yeah, no, I played with him.
How'd that
go? With him. I'll let Alex. I'll give you let you take the reins on that one. How'd it go, Alex?
The place is beautiful. I played like shit and played a little bit.
You played better on the back.
Couple good holes, on the back, but the place is tough. It's really nice. I had to. Danny told me to wait outside the entrance before he arrives and announced his arrival.
That was a joke.
Oh shit!
That was a joke.
Alex, what's going on with Tom here? You think we can?
I don't
Alex
know.
couldn't handle the
These
rhythm.
guys might have just waited so long that it's like lagging out.
I don't even know.
I was giving Alex some shit about his golf game, and he looks at me and he goes, "Can you be serious for 2 seconds?" That's what he said. That's what he said.
And now you said it back to me. About
I mean,
10
what
times.
what did you expect me to say once you said that? You said, "Can you be serious for 2 seconds?"
I was
like, "Yeah, we're having a great time. Like it's July 3rd. Like life is good." Like what did you want me to say in that moment? Like, dude, you're showing serious, promising signs of a major improvement.
No, I think you were trolling. Oh, he's back here. This should
Tom.
work.
Wow,
he's on a tractor.
I'm in my cart. I just had to send my guys out for lunch.
All right, so we got Tom Pastorino here. You are an assistant pro at Half Moon Bay. So you're out on the West Coast. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm the assistant superintendent out here. Actually,
sorry, superintendent.
No worries.
So talk to us a little bit about your daily routine. We love talking to the guys that just grind it out there. We've been to Half Moon Bay. It's a fucking ridiculous property. I can't even imagine what goes into maintaining and setting up that type of golf course compared to something here in New York where everything's very flat. The weather's a little bit more predictable. You know what you're going to get. Out there, it's got to be chaos.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, especially out here on the coast side, it's the weather's unpredictable. I mean, like it's July 5th and I think it's maybe 60 degrees right now.
I was going to say, you got quite a few layers on you right now for July 6th.
Yeah. I mean, like, and this is actually light for me right now. I usually have a big jacket on too. But yeah, like, we get the marine layer, like, I call it fog. I'm born and raised here. So it's just like, it's always miserable. Our best time of year is October, and then it comes and goes. So,
how long have you been in the industry? How'd you find yourself in Half Moon Bay? What was your path to becoming an assistant super out there?
So I've been in the industry for, has it been like 3 years, maybe 4 coming up. I work for my parents. I'm from Half Moon Bay. I was born and raised on a flower nursery. People call it a farm, but we did my parents started a landscaping company, so I worked for them. And then, when your parents are your bosses, Frankie, I bet you get it. You kind of butt heads with your parents a little bit too much, and work becomes the home life too. And so a buddy of mine was working on a golf course down in San Jose, and he was leaving. He worked for Santa Clara Baseball. So he's like, "Hey, I'm leaving. A few other guys are leaving. There's spots available if you guys want to hop in, or if you want to hop in." So decided to do it. Started out raking bunkers. Eventually moved to starting mowing stuff, and I fell in love with it. Went to my boss. Was like, "How can I further this?" He was like, "Get a certificate. You can get a degree." So I did Penn State school online. I just did
Dude, we were talking about this. Penn State is like they move the golf business.
Yeah. I mean, like them. My boss did
Michigan State. Yeah.
Michigan State. One of my other bosses at this course went to Rutgers.
Big Ten.
Yeah.
For the golf community.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was easy to do. I mean, it was all online. And it was kind of nice. I could do it, I could do it at home and then still keep working and kind of learning hands-on. But I mean, it was a quick rise that the boss that I had ended up leaving. He went down to he became the super down at the club at Pasadena down in Monterey there. I was going to go with him actually. And then the guy that took over for him was like, hold on. How can I keep you a little bit longer here? It's like, well, it's money. Like I'm going to go down there and make more money. So he's like, all right.
Yeah.
He's like, all right.
I know exactly how.
Yeah. How much school you have left? I was like, I think it was November at the time. I was like, I'm done in December. He's like, okay, we'll figure something out. And then, I'm in this for, it was, I think, just over 2 years at the time. And come in the next Monday and he goes, "You want to be assistant superintendent?" I was like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, sure." So yeah, did that for a year. The job popped up in Half Moon Bay for the same role, a little bit better pay. And this was my dream to work here. I wanted to be the director of agronomy, because we have the 2 courses, but I was like, you know what, this could be my way to get the foot in the door back home. So I took it, and been here for, it'll be a year in October. So
what's been the the hardest or most difficult thing to work on a coastal golf course? You guys are up on the cliffs, bunch of wind, I'm assuming like seawater kind of crashing in. What's been like the hardest or most difficult thing to kind of learn how to do and maintain that golf course?
Really, right, like most of it's kind of the balance between the two. Like, I spent a lot of my time on the ocean course, like where you guys host the classic and stuff. But we have the old course that goes in all the houses, and it's trying to, like, we have to spray greens or we have to spray fairways. Like, all right, we got to make sure that we have everything on board because neighbors want to know what's going out there. And then, on the ocean course, it's just, dealing with weather where, it could be like when I first started, it was, we were getting winds at 50 miles an hour, and flag sticks are bent at 45 degrees, and mainly just weather. Like it's tough to deal with. It's, like what you said, it's dealing with, it's just always wet. And then when it's not, it's, it's easy to kind of recover, but figuring out that balance to where it's not too wet and you drive on a fairway and you're hearing the water underneath the tires. So, it's just dealing with weather and water, really.
Yeah. I can't even imagine. And that's why I love talking to guys that work in the agronomy area of golf, because like, I can't even keep my fucking backyard like soaked enough to be green. Like I have dead fucking spots all over the place. And we're talking about basically smaller than like your average PGA Tour green, and I can't even keep that thing green. So I can't imagine how hard it is with all the different elements and all the shit and crabgrass and all this fucking stuff that starts popping up. So, but we'll keep this rolling. We'll get to the next guy. We appreciate you calling in, Tom. Yeah, best of luck with out there. Thanks, I'm happy to hear that rise to the position that you're in right now. That's really cool. It seems like just, the everyday man can just find themselves in a position like that just by working hard and finding themselves in the right position. So it's cool to hear that.
Yeah, come on out anytime. Next time you guys are at the Dad or Dan, whenever you're out here for a tournament again,
Appreciate it, Tom.
Boys, thank you.
Half Moon Bay, baby. Good memories.
See ya. Sir. All right.
All right, that's Tom from Half Moon Bay. Not the highest frequency of electricity. If we're talking, I don't know, like how you gauge electricity. Is it frequencies? Is it volts? Is it voltages? Hertz?
It's a good story, though.
It's a good story. I like talking to people like that because he's just working at a nursery, butting heads with his dad. Right. And all of a sudden he ends up just being like one of the main guys at Half Moon Bay, which is it's a huge deal.
Shady Rays. I had my first Not at Mine video come out. The feedback's been great. I saw a couple of people saying, "Where'd you get those shades, dude? Those are some great shades." Well, the answer is Shady Rays. Take on the sun with gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered for the warm weather ahead with premium polarized shades at an affordable price. Shady Rays is an independent sunglass company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair we've worn. I say the same thing. These are not $180, but they don't need to be because they're just as good. I wear them all the time. Durable frames and extremely clear optics for all your outdoor adventures. And that's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. It doesn't stop at the quality. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection program in all of eyewear. Each pair of sunglasses are backed by lost and broken. If you lose or break your pair, even on day 1 or year 2, I'm having trouble with words right now, they will send you a brand new pair. You lose your sunglasses, you break them, brand new pair. Why would you buy from anywhere else? Shady Rays, together with their customers, is providing much needed support to nonprofit partners across the U.S. through Shady Rays Impact. From building play sets for pediatric cancer patients to providing young adults with MS the outdoor adventure of a lifetime, Shady Rays is making an impact in your community and others like it now and for years to come. Shady Rays, what a company. That protection is insane. The glasses are awesome.
We've been Shady Rays guys forever. If you've been listening to this podcast for any amount of time, 2 years, 1 year, 5 years, we've always been Shady Rays guys. If you want sunglasses, if you need sunglasses, and you do, it's summer. It's very, very bright outside right now. Go to Shady Rays, get a pair. They're the best in the business. They really are.
I've got a exclusive one for our listeners. Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Listen to this. Go to shadyrays.com and use the code FORE, F-O-R-E, like the podcast, for 50% off. That is not a misprint. 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. So if you get 2 and you get 50% off, my math would say that that's buy one, get one free. I don't know if that's true. 50% off 2 or more pairs of sunglasses. Use code FORE at shadyrays.com.
We'll talk to our guy, Luke Knutson. I believe that's how you say his last name, right?
Yeah.
Luke Knutson, Rockville Lynx, one of our best friends in the industry. He's going to come on the show here. He is obviously the super at Rockville Lynx here on Long Island. It's the site of the bunker incident. It's the site of many breaking 90s. He has worked at all the big clubs that we enjoy, including Wingfoot with our guy Steve Rabideau. I never know how to say his last name, but this is Luke is back on the show. We love talking to you. How are you doing today, Luke? I'm sure you're busy as shit with just 4th of July coming around, and golf is probably out of control at Rockville right now.
Yeah, it's pumping. We had to delay them to 11 today because we haven't had any time to do any maintenance. So we're going fast today, and a couple tournaments coming up too. So we're busy. We're right in the middle of it.
So Luke, we just talked to a guy from Half Moon Bay. He's a assistant superintendent, and he mentioned really quickly that he did an online certification. Was it Penn State?
Yeah.
So we forgot to really get into it, but like, what would someone in an online superintendent class learn if you're not like out there? Like, what are you really learning?
Well, they're learning the basics of agronomy, about the grass, the cultural practices, all that. A lot of those guys are doing it while they're working too. So they'll go through some classes at night, even this time of year in the fall and everything, and just pick away at a class or two and just keep going. So it's guys that are kind of looking to move up to become an assistant and stuff like that. There's a lot of ways to get into this, and there's a huge demand for assistants now. So any of those guys willing to do something like that can move up pretty quickly.
When we're talking about different grasses, are we saying, this is how you grow bent and this is how you take care of POA, or is it not even, is it even more basic than that?
It's more like the physiology of each grass. You understand the pluses and minuses, everything else. Not too many places are trying to grow POA. It's kind of Met New York area and then the West Coast. I'm a POA farmer, so that's something they're not really teaching you. And they're more going over bent grass and Bermuda and POA, all the differences, the pluses, the minuses, the way you have to maintain them. But it's also if you're trying to maintain like a bent grass green, you're not going to aerate like in the shoulder seasons because all the POA can creep in. It's teaching you basics like that.
You're a part of what's the association that you're a part of with the supers, where you guys kind of all
GCAA?
Yeah, I'm GCSAA. That's our national. Then local, I'm in the Met GCSA, and I'm on the board of the Long Island Golf Course Supers.
So when you guys are part of these boards and you're part of these programs, like what are you guys really trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish? Is there like a standard that you guys are trying to set amongst other superintendents? Like what goes on behind the scenes of like the board of superintendents?
No, it's more, you're setting up golf events and events for everybody to get together. It's more just get together. We all need education points for our pesticide and chemical applicator licenses. You need the ongoing education for recertifying those. So it's kind of setting up the education, really just kind of just the brotherhood, fraternity, whatever you want to call it, getting everybody together, helping assistants grow. It's play some golf. It's more of a social thing. And then a lot of it also is dealing with just kind of government relations and everything. Golf always seems to be the low-hanging fruit and the easy thing to attack. So there's a lot of lobbying and just kind of being out in front and making sure that you're seen and heard on a lot of issues and everything.
What's been your biggest headache this year? I like to talk to you about what's been driving you insane. Is it the amount of play? Is it the weather this year? The weather's been kind of weird in New York. What's been driving you nuts at Rockville?
The play is a lot. It's not driving me nuts because that's a good thing. You know, golf's healthy, golf's booming, so that's a good thing. You know, the schedule and everything's a different scenario, but the weather really has been, because it's been cold. Grass really hasn't been growing up until like the last week here. You know, just little bits. You're not mowing much, so you're trying not to put too much fertility down. You know, we're kind of walking that fine line of going into the tough part of the season a little lean and mean because it's not going, and trying to push it without, you know, getting in trouble here as it gets hot. So it flipped that switch this last week though, so we're going. I mean, it's hot as can be out there today.
What's the process on when you say like there's an event coming up and you're going to double roll them and you're going to get these greens up to a 13, 14? Like, how easy is it for you to be able to manipulate the speed of a green if you have like is there a certain amount of days that you need in advance to know, or could you do it like overnight? Could you theoretically take a green from like a 10 to a 14 in like one night?
I mean, you could. I don't think you want to. The amount of times you got to roll and do all that. I don't think everybody understands like how ridiculous a 14 is too. I mean, a 12 is fast.
Well, a lot of people like to say that their greens are running at a 14, and if you actually know, it's like, no, it's fucking not.
Yeah, downhill.
Like,
it is, you know.
Yeah.
You know, we don't chase speeds. We try to give them a little extra. We're looking for smooth and consistent here. You know, we talk about pool tables, watching it just kind of roll out smooth and everything here and firm. You know, we're pushing the playability, the firm, smooth, consistent. But right now is tougher because it's hot and the humidity's up. You know, it's, you know, if you got like a wood door in your house and it starts sticking this time of year, you know, it swells up, it's taking that humidity and everything. It's kind of the same thing with these greens and the soils. They just start to get a little fluffy, and it's hard to chase those speeds in this weather. Can you do it?
Yeah.
Yes. Are you causing a bunch of damage? You could be. You know, we have a one-day member guest tomorrow, so we're going to try to crank it up. But normally if I want a 14, a few days out, we're cutting, making sure that we're not cutting too much grass. And then we start doing an extra roll in the afternoons. We'll come back at, you know, right around lunchtime or right after and roll them again just to keep them at that pace, because you do lose a little bit.
Has your job ruined nature for you in the sense of when you walk by a field, are you like, you know, I'm loving the condition of this bent grass over here. I wish they had a little more moisture in the corner. Like, are you walking through life just making comments about the health of the turf everywhere you go?
No, it's a lot easier to walk somebody else's property and enjoy it than it is your own, you know? So it's, you know, it's kind of funny because you really enjoy it. Like when you go to some of the public tracks and you see how good somebody does with that, you know, minimal amount of money and everything like that compared to the privates. So no, I don't worry about it too much once I leave this property.
When are we laying sticks of dynamite on the fifth hole and lighting the fuse? When will you let me do that?
Ooh. I don't know. I think we're better off giving you a bunker lesson.
Whoa,
that's all right. For those that people probably know, but that's the hole where the bunker incident happened, and I made up. I don't even remember the number, and that it's the hole is not the problem. I am clearly the problem, but it's a 105-yard hole that I'm like 500 over par on that hole.
Yeah, I played last Friday, and I was in the left side bunker buried, and I purposely chipped to the back rough and hit a perfect shot and still lost it into the bunker left. Pin was back left. I mean, just barely got it on the green. It just was on the wrong side of the slope. Then I left two in the bunker right where you were at. So, but I was short-sided, you know, so I picked it up and walked on, though. I'm not filming the hole out, so.
That hole, man, I tell you what.
But yeah, it's tough when you miss that green, especially when they're ripping like they are right now. So.
Oh my God, that green, man! It's just
there's a few of them out here. That one's just got it on every side, though.
So good. Well, Luke, we appreciate you calling in. We'll let you get back to it. I'm sure you're busy. You're out there. It's a hot day, so stay cool. We'll do. We'll see you this weekend, actually, which will be fun.
Yeah, sounds good, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Give you and the boys playing golf the day of the wedding?
No, he's coming.
Oh, he's coming to the wedding.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Got it. Very
nice. You gotta keep your supers close to the chest.
100%. 100%. I invited. Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
He figured his ends.
All right, Luke, man, have a
Appreciate
good day,
it,
and tell the boys we say what up.
Yeah, we'll do. Anytime, guys. Take care.
That guy was a lot better. I liked talking to that guy.
Dude,
That
Luke's one of the
great.
best.
Luke
That's why he's
is
coming to the
the
wedding.
best.
He's one of my favorite people in all of golf.
Yeah, he
We've
just gives
played
you a good
Rockville
answer.
so many times.
He
and
also
he's just,
has like stories that like he probably wouldn't say on a podcast, but like he's just one of those guys that just love to talk about like the experiences of being a super, like with like the neighbors and the people that live on the golf course. There's things that you don't realize that these guys have to deal with shit. You're trying to get a golf course ready by 7 a.m. right? You got to be out there at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock. You got to be like blowing leaves and like mowing rough and fairway. And like, there's people that live there that are like, you have to stop doing this because like,
and the
this
laws
is my
are probably
backyard.
like not that like clear as to who's right, and like it's a
Told
relationship.
me some hilarious stories of people just freaking out, like they're not even members there, but they're just like, I don't understand why you guys do this. I like moved here from another state. I lived on a golf course. I didn't know it was going to be like this. I want to leave. Like it's a nightmare. He's like, we have to mow this shit. Like I know it's your backyard, but we have to. It's like balls are in the air in 10 minutes. We gotta
it is
get going.
Good. It is good to do these types of shows every once in a while because people do forget, and sometimes we forget where like you just show up to a golf course and everything's perfect, and you're just like, oh, this is great. I'm going to spend 4 or 5 hours out here, and oh my gosh, the greens are so great. The golf course looks beautiful. That takes a lot of work.
Yeah,
and
you don't say thank you to anyone. You just show up. You're like, "Where's the range?" And
get out of the fairway. This guy's just in the fairway. This guy's like kneeling down in the fairway on some fucking like sprinkler head. Like, what's this guy doing?
Don't mind me. Just trying to play golf here.
Right, being a dick. And it's like, dude, like Frankie's saying, his yard is the size of a green, maybe, and he's like, I can't figure this thing out. Like, what is happening? They have to do that with acres upon acres of land, and if it's not perfect, people are like, well, this fucking sucks. It's like, just take a deep breath. This shit's hard, man. You're molding nature into a place where people want to play golf. You're going up against the hardest opponent ever. Mother Nature's like, no, I'm just going to grow and I'm going to do whatever I want. These jobs are very, very difficult.
We've got
it's not a fair fight.
No.
Isaiah Harkin. He's going to be hopping in here. He is a assistant superintendent at Whisper Rock in Scottsdale, Arizona, which is a very well-known and high-profile, I would say, membership at Whisper Rock. I mean, Whisper Rock, for people that don't know, I mean, like fucking Phil's been out there,
dude.
You've got John Rahm's a member
Arizona
out there.
West Coast guy,
Max Homa,
Josh Isner, our guy Josh Isner,
the Rock.
Yeah, and obviously Connor, our guy Connor, he like owns it. His dad owns Whisper Rock, so it's an amazing place.
Isaiah, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. What's up?
Yes, Isaiah Harkin, Whisper Rock assistant pro. Let's talk to you a little bit about, first of all, are you just dying in heat out there? It's got to be fucking triple digits.
I don't think it's that bad. I'm in a quarter zip right now, and it's 10:30 a.m. It's 93 degrees outside. I feel fine. I'm sure you guys hear from rigs all the time, but that dry heat really, really helps it out.
Dude, you're sweating. We can see.
I was watering greens earlier today, so I just got a little bit of the leftover in the hair.
Why are you wearing a quarter
assistant
zip?
super? I called you assistant pro.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Well, assistant superintendent Frankie, not a pro, but Dan. Sorry, what'd you say? Why am I wearing a quarter zip?
Yeah.
Mostly for sun. Yeah, I'm not wearing it right now, but I have one of those gaiters too that I'll pull up over my face. It's mostly just to help me from the sun, so I don't blow my.
So it's like now through
sunscreen.
like mid September is just like a battle against the sun, just every day, every moment.
Yep. From I'd say, May's not really that bad. June is when it starts to get really hot. But July, August, September is when it's really sweaty, mostly shorts every single day. But then October, once we overseed, October through May, I'm in pants. I look like Frankie golfing. I'm in pants, quarter zip. I got a hoodie on sometimes. It's cold. I'm like Frank. I try to hide from the sun as much as I can.
Gotta. So, all right, Isaiah, you're at Whisper Rock. Obviously, it's a high-profile club. You got a lot of guys. You got John Rahm. You got Max Homa. You got big names that are playing on the tour, and they like to call that place home. What's like this? Is there a higher standard in your guys' like office in your guys' world where it's like you got to make sure that this place is completely dialed in because of obviously the money coming in, the budget, and all the stuff that you guys have to deal with? Do you feel like, and I don't know if you've worked anywhere else, but do you feel like this place is kind of like you better be on top of your game or else you're going to be out the door?
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. I would say exactly what you just said about just a higher standard. I mean, with the names that you listed and the membership that we have, I know us down in the maintenance department, and I know the guys in the pro shop feel the same way. Just we pride ourselves on doing a really good job and providing the best golf course and golf course experience that we can to not just the pro members, but every member from top to bottom, and just make sure that they just have a great experience along with their guests. You know, I know Riggs has been out here a handful of times. I met him out here. You know, we just want everyone that walks onto our property and plays our golf course to have a positive experience. And that goes from getting a hat and a belt in the pro shop to the actual playability of tees, greens, and fairways, and making sure that it's up to par on all aspects of the golf course.
How'd you get into agronomy? Did you go to what school did you go to? How'd you get into this whole world?
No, it's I was in high school, and I took a summer job at the local golf course with a buddy just because I wanted to work with my friends in the summer before we all went off to college. And I liked it, whatever. Got to save some money before college, but then I came back after my freshman year of college and got some more responsibility, got to kind of see it a little more in depth, and I just really loved it and just fell in love with it. And after that second season working at a golf course, I decided to switch my major. I was a history education major my freshman year, and then decided to, thanks, Dan. And then decided to switch to turf as a sophomore at North Dakota State up in Fargo, North Dakota, and did internships. I actually interned at Wingfoot the summer after you guys were there for the Open in 2020. So I was an intern there in 2021. And then that was actually my last internship. And then I moved out to Arizona beginning of 2022 to take my first assistant job and, working on slowly climbing the ladder from this point on.
I guess it's kind of a unique challenge in Arizona. You guys are open all year round. And so what is that process like in the heat of summer when, you're dealing with one of the most intense climates in the world, really?
Yeah. So I don't know how much, you guys all know, but in climates like Arizona, we do a process called overseed, where in October, once the overnight temperatures cool off, we plant ryegrass, which is a cool season grass, and then that's kind of the main playing surface that we have for our members in season, from October through mid to end of May. And then throughout the month of June, the golf course gets really ugly as that ryegrass, that cool season grass, starts to die. And we go into what we call transition, where we're killing off that ryegrass and letting the natural Bermuda grass grow through. And Bermuda grass really likes the high temperatures, exposed to sunlight, really damp. So we go heavy watering in the summer. But membership doesn't usually stick around full year. I know that's pretty typical for a lot of places out in Arizona, the whole snowbird thing. A lot of people go back to wherever they're from, Midwest, East Coast, Pacific Northwest this time of year, because it's obviously really nice where you guys are at to play golf. But most of our membership plays, and we're really busy when you guys aren't. So just seasons reversed, but yeah, we stay open throughout the entire year. We provide a playing surface all 12 months of the year, but just some months are better than others just because of the weather.
Yeah, that's got to be a grind out there. It's totally different. We've talked to guys from California today. We talked to a guy from New York, and now we're talking to someone from Arizona. It is very interesting to know the different types of grasses, the different types of treatments that you have to be able to make these things run at the pace and at the standard that they have to. I mean, all three clubs that we've talked to, Half Moon Bay, Rockville Links, and Whisper Rock, those are like, you can't be fucking taking days off. Those are your local munis where it's like you don't have a bigger budget, you don't know what to do with it. Obviously those guys are grinding just as hard, but the standard for what you have to have grass be at these courses is fucking insane. You would think that it would be more lenient. It'd be like what I said to Luke, where it's like my backyard dies and like that's just what it is. It's just what happens to grass. But no, if that happens at Whisper Rock, someone's gonna die. It's over.
Where does the water come from? Where is all that water come from?
Don't ask that question. Don't ask that question.
All right. I was just wondering.
We've got we create our own weather out here. If we need a little extra water in the pond, we turn on the weather machine and we get some rain just over our property.
Fair.
Well, Isaiah,
I got one question for Isaiah that I wanted to ask, because like you said, you work, at a golf course with some of the best players in the world or members. We hear all this talk about Tiger telling his personal greenskeeper in Augusta, crank that shit up. I want to get ready for the Masters. Do you guys do that for your players for the Masters?
I don't know how much I can say. I asked my boss permission to come on the show, which I'm very glad he did. I mean, I'm a big fan of all you guys.
Don't say anything else.
Trent,
Don't
I'm
say
from
anything
Waterloo,
else.
Iowa, so shout out Trent.
No way.
Yeah, for real. I was born in Waterloo, Iowa.
What high school did you go to?
Well, then I moved to Minnesota, and so I did all my schooling. I grew up in Minnesota, but I was born, and my family is from Waterloo, Iowa, Waverly Shell
That's
Rock,
unreal.
Iowa.
I mean, that's very close to Cedar Rapids. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's my big connection to Trent. But sorry, Danny, I don't know if I'm allowed to give you a
That's fair.
real answer
State
on
secret.
that.
State secret.
I'm just happy my boss let me come on the show. I'm a big fan of you guys, but I don't want to get myself in any trouble and say too much. So
I love
I'll
it,
leave
Isaiah.
that up to your imagination.
Okay, fair enough.
We love it. We appreciate you.
yes.
We appreciate you hopping on here, and keep up the good work and make sure that all that shit's staying in line, because obviously we don't want to see you get kicked to the side because one blade of grass was out of line there.
Dude, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys, sending out that tweet and letting me DM and hop on the show. I'm a big fan. Keep up the great work, Danny. Screw those haters, man. I love you a part of Foreplay, man. You belong with these guys.
Yeah.
You're doing great
Thank you,
stuff.
buddy. I appreciate that.
I still had a hair on you.
Trent, let's
that.
get a fucking 88 out there, dude. I know you hear it so much. I'm rooting for
New
you,
episode's
though,
coming
dude.
out tonight. Could have happened already. New episode's coming out tonight.
I mean, I'll be watching with you guys. You know it. But, man, we got to see it.
I agree. I'm with you, man.
Okay. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
All right, Isaiah.
Thanks, Isaiah.
I think he was about to take credit for John Rahm winning the Masters. I think that's what was about to happen.
No,
man.
Isaiah, hang up before
I know
you
you
say
guys,
it.
you guys have seen it in person. You see that guy hit the ball in person. That is something different. That is nothing
hang
to
up
do
the
with the
phone.
grass. That man hits the ball different, and you know it when you see it in person.
It's true.
I cannot take any credit of that. I will take credit for Whisper Rock membership has 2 of the 3 majors already played this year, Wyndham Clark and John Rahm.
Ooh.
2 of our members
There you
have 2 of the 3 majors. So shout out our
pretty
Whisper
good.
Rock boys.
Why Brooks doesn't like the course or what?
Brooks is a Florida guy.
I mean, if the course was good enough, you'd probably be
But
fine.
Brooks lives in Florida, Danny. You know this. Come on.
Isaiah, you're the man.
There's vodka in this? Yeah. There's vodka in this. Try Truly Vodka Seltzer made with real fruit juice. They like to keep it real at Truly. There's no BS going on. If it says there's vodka in there, there's vodka in there. That's why they use no artificial flavors or sweeteners. It's made with premium vodka for a crisp, clean, and refreshing taste. And I will say that in the hot summer sun on a boat, sometimes you just need real vodka. They got fewer calories. All 12-ounce cans have under 110 calories, which means plenty of refreshing flavor that won't weigh you down. Lower sugar. Every Truly Vodka Seltzer contains only 2 grams of sugar, a refreshing go-to that is perfect for summer, Trent Ryan.
Listen, Truly has been the presenting sponsor of the Barstool Classic for 5 years running. I have been to a lot of Barstool Classics.
Yes.
I have watched many, many people enjoy this new beverage. People love it. The new Truly Seltzer, people go crazy for it. The real vodka, the real juice, the new can, people are oohing and on when they step up to the tee. They open the cooler, they see the new can. We're Truly guys through and through. So if you want to enjoy your summer, enjoy it Truly, enjoy the golf course. They go hand in hand. They really do.
A refreshing go-to that's perfect for summer. Find Truly Vodka Seltzer near you. They're basically everywhere, but if you still want to look, trulyhardseltzer.com.
Waiting in the bowels, we've got Jackson back. So Jackson, this is a huge redemption story for Jackson. I don't know if we cut it out. We probably did cut it out when we were waiting in the beginning, but in the beginning of trying to get all these people to call in, Jackson Hamlin tried to call in, and it was just a black screen. And now we finally have him here. He is an aspiring, soon-to-be club pro. He's in school for it right now. He has worked at Shinnecock, Plainfield Country Club, and is in the Jim McLean Golf School. Jackson, we were shitting on you a little bit before because it was just a black screen. We couldn't get you. We were saying you're soon-to-be golf pro, but you have no Wi-Fi. We're very happy that you are on the show now. Thanks for
Appreciate that. Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. So, this Jim McLean Golf School, talk to us about the process in becoming a club pro. How'd you get into this? Why this? And I'm just very interested in this whole rise to becoming a pro.
Yeah. So I actually grew up, Trent, you're going to like this. I grew up in Clear Lake, Iowa.
Jesus,
I'm original.
Iowan.
Another Iowa guy. The last guy was an Iowa guy too.
The last guy was from Waterloo.
Yeah, so I grew up in Clear Lake, Iowa, played golf in high school, went and played 2 years at a community college in Mason City, Iowa. Didn't really know what I wanted to do after that. Wasn't good enough to get any kind of bigger scholarships. So took a visit to the University of Nebraska. They have a PGA golf management program.
Wow.
I believe there's 18 accredited programs in the nation right now, U.S. Took a leap of faith and said, I still love golf. Like, I don't know what else I'm going to do.
You had to pick Nebraska, though? Like, that of all the ones, there's 17 other ones that you could have picked.
Trent,
as an Iowa guy, that's a bit sacrilegious.
I know. I hear it all the time. I took a visit up to Ferris State, Michigan. Whew. That was it just wasn't my vibe up there, man. That was like 10 hours away, and I was just like, oh boy. So I went to Nebraska. I know,
right.
Brutal. It's tough being there. I mean, there's some other Iowa guys, and we just get absolutely shit on all the time.
Bunch of Benedict Arnolds going to the same school.
Yeah. Yes. So
I'm sorry, keep going.
We're all kind of grouped together, but so I went there with a bunch of extra credits because I had an associate's degree, got a double major in sports media and communication and PGA golf management because I was just kind of feeling stuff out. Started off, met some guys who have been to some big clubs in our program. Didn't really know what I wanted to do within golf. I knew there was a lot of options, your head golf professional, assistant golf professional, teaching professionals. I just wasn't really sure. I was kind of interested in the media side. I like the social media, kind of what you guys do. I love it. But I wasn't sure how to get my foot in the door of things. So I just kind of decided to take a leap of faith and stick around some good guys in the program that have been to these big clubs. So I was lucky enough to get my first internship at Shinnecock Hills. Unbelievable experience. Can't even describe it. Love Long Island, Frankie. Unreal.
Especially there. I mean, you're arguably in the greatest plot of golf land that you can find in the world.
Oh
is that gosh. Do you consider that Long Island, Frankie, or is the Hamptons its own thing?
I think where Shinnecock and National and Sabonic, I think that's Long Island. I think once you get out to Montauk, it's a whole new world.
Yeah.
But for me, I could get to Shinnecock in like 40 minutes, 50 minutes. Yeah. So it's like it's quicker to go there than the city for me. So I feel like that's still Long Island.
Yeah, so Shinnecock was, unbelievable. And, like, from where I'm from, I don't know if, Trent, you could kind of back me up on this, but, like, growing up, golf pros, especially in my area, weren't really a thing. Like, I didn't really know what a golf pro was. Like, if I wanted to play golf, I'd go to the local 9-hole course, give the guy $20, and I'd go walk. Like, that was just how it was. And so this experience was just a whole new world for me. Like, I started outside with just like bag room stuff and things like that, kind of worked my way up into the golf shop. And I was at the point where like the head pro was like, hey, when you answer the phone in here, you just give it straight to an assistant. And I'm just like, yes, sir. Like, you got it. Like, I'm just here to sell shirts. Like, okay. But that was, I was definitely treated amazing there. I got to play every time I got off work. I just hop in a golf cart and go play the number 4 course in the U.S. Like, you can't really beat that. So obviously my first internship experience of a lifetime.
Every day
every single day.
How many times did you play, you think?
What a joke that is. I mean, it's light till like 8:45, so you played a lot.
Oh yeah. I mean, my buddy and I, who was also an intern there, we'd close up the range at like 5:30 and we'd just hop out. We'd go because the place is dead. I mean, the only time that place was busy was on the weekends.
They got to hang out with their families and do barbecues and stuff on at night. People are busy.
Yeah, so that was incredible. I mean, I learned a lot. Didn't get like the full club pro experience there, but like I was just getting a little taste of it, which I knew I was getting myself into that, but I was totally fine doing it there. Still was kind of interested in the media side. Got back to school and applied for PGA Tour internship, got into like the final interviews and got a job offer from Plainfield Country Club, which kind of sparked my interest because I was starting to feel like, hey, like I want to keep playing. Like, I know a lot of these club pros, like they don't play much, That's just the way it kind of is now, which sucks, but I was like, okay, like I'm a good player. Like let's kind of tier my, like tailor my interest towards teaching. Like, let's see if I can do this. So there's a good teacher out at Plainfield Country Club, Ryan Hager, great guy. Went out to Plainfield, was hoping to help him as much as I possibly could and learn. But that was kind of the place where I realized what being a club pro was. I mean, I was the only intern. I was immediately thrown into the golf shop, and I was listed as an assistant golf professional. That's where I got my first taste of the 70, 80-hour work weeks, which, whew, man, it's tough. I mean, I didn't know many people in New Jersey, so I was like, you know what, like, what else am I going to do here? Like, I don't know anybody. I'll work. Yeah, you guys go do what you got to do.
Another really good golf course.
Absolutely. I mean, it definitely didn't get to play as much as I did at the first place, which sucked. But that was kind of my first taste of like, whoa, like I gotta change things up if I wanna like have a life in the end, because like I couldn't do that for more than 5 years. I mean, I'd probably go crazy, to be completely honest. But you know, Plainfield was great. Like I learned a lot.
What was going into like an 80-hour work week? What was like, what's all the stuff you were doing that you couldn't step away from?
So it's like the biggest flaw, in my opinion, of kind of the club pros nowadays is, yes, they get all these interns. And the way it used to be back in the day was you're at the bottom of the totem pole. Like you're gonna stay here, you're gonna sit behind the counter, and we're gonna do these other things, which I get. Like that's how it was back in the day. Golf pros were golf pros. They did golf things. They didn't sit behind the counter. So basically, Frankie, like if the pros had a lesson or they wanted to go play with some members, Jackson's here to sit behind the counter. Like he'll just sell stuff in the shop. He'll answer the phone calls, which is good because like obviously we all go through it, and I've learned that. But I mean, I didn't play any golf. Like my days off, man, I booked it out of there. I'd go to the city or go to Long Island and see my friends working out there. I wouldn't dare to stick around, because if I got a call like, hey, I need you in, I'm actually out. Like I'm 3 hours away.
Yeah.
You know, but like I did learn a lot, and I spent a lot of time with the teaching pro as much as I could. My days off, I would just kind of huddle around his tent and just watch him teach, because I was like, man, like I want to, in the end of things, I want to sit under this tent. I want to make my own lesson book. I don't want to be in that golf shop. Like some people like that, and to each their own, obviously. But I was definitely like, okay, if I want to do what I want to do, I got to start this teaching. So get back to school, another semester, 2 semesters done, and I reach out to the teaching professional that I worked with at Plainfield, Ryan Hager, and I was like, hey, like I got to find something where I'm not at a golf course. I mean, I can be at a golf course. I want to go to a golf school, a teaching school. So he worked at Jim McLean Golf School down here in Miami, Florida, for about 2 years, and that's where he sent me, and that's where I'm at right now.
The head pro at where I'm a member at Quaker, this guy Mario Guerra was also at Jim McLean Golf School, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, you're correct. I mean, you look at a lot of those East Coast clubs and teaching pros. I mean, half of them have been here. So I knew it was kind of the right direction. Of course, I'm on the bottom of the totem pole, but this is what I want to do. So I'm going to do what it takes, obviously, to kind of work myself up. Miami, it's a different place. Still getting used to it, especially being in the summer, but it gives me a lot of time, a lot of free time, because the lessons, there's not as many lessons, not a lot of people here. Still trying to play as much golf as I can, but when I get off work at 3:30 and it's 103 degrees, sometimes I'm like, all right, maybe I should just go relax, you know? So, but it's good. It's a process.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty deep look into the ins and outs, and like how many, it seems like when you're in the midst of it, you can find yourself in a situation where you love it, sort of like Shinnecock, and then you get thrown into a situation where you have to kind of put your head down and work. And there's a lot of outs that I feel like people will find themselves seeing in that industry, where they can't make it to the top and they can't keep grinding because like it's not what they anticipated. It's not that beautiful, sitting on a driving range, just with a bunch of nice, clean, tailor-made practice balls at your feet, and you're just watching guys hit baby draws, and you're like, oh, I think you should hit a cut. Like, it's just not that, man. It's fucking setting up tournaments, and it's dealing with the bag room and dealing with people complaining that the weather horn's about to blow. And it's a grind, man. And there's a lot of ways that it can go in, good or bad, throughout that whole journey. I mean, you just explained that's been 4 or 5 years. I mean, how long is it?
It's I'm coming up on my 4th year at the university. I have 1 more semester left.
Yeah. So I mean, it's an interesting path, and good on you for keeping going, because there's a lot of ways where you could just be like, I'm not doing this anymore. I like the game, but I don't want to fucking sit behind a counter for the rest of my life.
Yeah. I mean, and you're seeing, like, I was listening to Matt Gianella's Fire Pit podcast. I mean, he kind of did that series on the Club Pro crisis, and it's like my generation, like, I mean, we're competing with like Walmart. Like, Walmart's paying like $25 an hour. So it's definitely, in my opinion, I think it's going to change.
What is the Club Pro crisis? Like, what's like the elevator pitch for that? Like, what's the general situation?
It's just the Club Pros, they're running out of Club Pros because this generation is like, hey, I don't want to work 70, 80 hours a week, and I'm going to make 30,000.
But there's crazy demand because the game's more popular than ever, but they just don't have enough people who are willing to do these jobs, basically.
Yeah, and that's kind of the whole backstory of it. It's a great story, great podcast. It came out, like, the actual Golf Digest story came out, like, 2 years ago? I don't know, a year ago? But
Danny's a Golf Digest guy.
2 years ago, Shane Ryan wrote the first story about it. That was basically the concept was like, it was COVID. There's more demand at golf courses ever. These guys are working longer hours, and they're like not making that much more money. And so it's basically like it's falling on them. But got to take care of our Club Pros. Very important.
Definitely a cool story. But like I said, I mean, the thing that I've learned through the 4 years is, like, there's going to be places that are rough. Like, you're going to have to work a ton, but there's also so many country clubs out there that I believe are amazing. Like, there's some clubs I know out there that are going to treat you, the pro, like a member, which it's just about, that's why so many Club Pros get out. They come back in, they get out. I mean, Dan, pretty sure you played with one of my mentors that I worked with at Shinnecock at Bethpage, Mike Moynihan. He was at...
Oh yeah, that's Brendan's boy.
Yeah, exactly.
I took his money.
Yeah, good. He takes my money every time we play.
I took his money. Good.
Not a lot of people can say that. Finally, somebody gets.
I play good. He's a good player. We had a lot of fun. But yeah, I played with another one of our assistant pros, Chris Gabriel, who was at Sleepy Hollow before coming to. I love playing with Club Pros. They're all good players. They know the game. They love the game. Like, if you're a Club Pro, you love golf. And I think a lot of times. And there's a big distinction that I've learned also between golf professional and professional golfer, right? Golf professional is a guy who works at a club. Professional golfer is a guy who does this for a living. A lot of professional golfers wish they were on the PGA Tour. They're a little bit unhappy. They feel like things haven't gone their way. The golf professionals are typically, not all of them, but typically have a very good disposition because they're voluntarily working in a sport that they love. So I love playing with them.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. If you find a spot like that and you get those Club Pros, like, I mean, who are just happy to be there. They love golf.
But Mike left.
Yes.
Mike is working sales for
Holderness.
Peter Millar, Holderness and Bourne. Sorry. We're Peter Millar guys. But yeah, no, he tapped out. He couldn't do it anymore.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I look up to Mike. He was one of the best Club Pros I've ever worked under. I mean, that guy worked so hard. I was like, wow, if I want to be good at this, I got to be like Mike. And he had a kid, he had a baby, which I'm happy for him, and he just figured he couldn't do it. Like, he's like, if I want to.
Kind of daunting going into like that world, knowing that like the guy that fucking shepherded was your shepherd. What's the word I'm looking for? Shepherded him in.
I like that. Shepherd him in.
Mentored, I would go with, just to be
so let's
safe.
go with mentored. Like, that guy just like couldn't take it anymore. And I'm not saying that should be like a decision that should affect your decision, but
yeah.
I mean, in some ways, it's like if that's the way that it's going, something's got to change with like the lifestyle or something, right? Like, I mean, how are you gonna change this the standard of the golf club pro lifestyle if guys like that can't handle it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, especially seeing people like that. Like, I mean, I just had a buddy, one of my old roommates. He just graduated from the university with a degree in PGM, got his PGA, and was like, I don't know if I can do this. Hopped out and got an insurance job. So I was like, nice. Like, it's just, you just find those people.
I think you stick with it, because I think in the end, the people that will stick with it and love it will end up flourishing in it more. Like, there's got to be something else that they're not loving about it. Like if you love like the intricate parts of the job, if you love the game in ways that other people don't, you will find a way to love every part of the job. If like once you get it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're spot on. I mean,
yeah.
I still love what I do. Obviously, I have tailored my kind of career path towards something I know that I enjoy. Like, I love teaching and I love playing with these people who want to learn. It's awesome. I mean, that's what I think of as like a golf professional, and it's cool because I can, with my other degree too, I kind of have that behind me. Like, I got my own social media account. I'd like to create my own little teaching business down the road. It's just small steps, and I love it. Like, I love going up the ladder towards something that I know in the end will be good for me.
All right, what's your account? Time to shout it out so people can follow your teaching account.
JLH Golf.
There you go.
Golf.
JLH Golf. Well, you're very well spoken, Jackson, and we're glad that we finally got you on.
How old are you?
23.
Yeah, this guy's going places.
This guy's gonna be.
What's with the ANGC? What's with the Augusta hat? What's the story behind that?
I had a buddy from also Iowa. He worked at Augusta, tournament operations intern. Worked at one of the best clubs, and now he's up in Connecticut working the bag room. So it's just crazy how you can go from one to the next.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Well, amazing. We really appreciate you giving that story, Jackson. Best of luck. We'll be following your rise to PGA club professional stardom, because I don't see anything but success in your future with the way that you're approaching this whole thing. So
appreciate it, guys.
Appreciate it, man.
Cheers, dude. Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate it, Jackson.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Take care.
I mean, I'll tell you what I'm learning throughout this whole podcast is that Iowa is the backbone of the game of golf.
The heartland.
Every guy that comes on is like, hey, Trent, by the way, I'm from Waterloo. I'm from Clear Lake. My buddy's from down the road from where you grew up. I mean, without the state of Iowa and without the Midwest, and it's a hot topic right now because the John Deere Classic is going on right now. That part of the country is really the backbone of the sport. So without it, who knows where we would be?
It's actually true between Iowa and between Penn State, Nebraska, all the agronomy courses being taught out of that region. They got a big claim.
Michigan State.
That guy went to Nebraska, which I have my qualms with that, but it's still the Midwest.
Still family, yeah.
It's still, we're all we're brothers. We're all brothers. Yeah, so
the Barstool Sportsbook. Obviously, if you are a fan of this company, you know how important the Sportsbook is. The Barstool Sportsbook is everything. If you're going to be betting on sports, there's only one place to do it. It's the Barstool Sportsbook. They have all these cool promos. That's kind of what I like about this app compared to, there's a lot of sportsbooks out there. This is Barstool. You got your deals. You got bet with Foreplay. You can back Big Cat. You can bet with Pardon My Take. It's a community atmosphere. Look at this. This app is absolutely seamless.
Oh, it's a beautiful app.
It's a beautiful app with a bunch of different, drop downs, a bunch of different specials. They give you a little icon, and in case you forget that Wimbledon is tennis, it tells you right there that tennis, Wimbledon. The Barstool Sportsbook is just a massive part of this company, of this podcast. We love the Barstool Sportsbook. There's no other place to sign up and bet. You got to download and sign up for the Barstool Sportsbook today. Do it today. You might think it's summer. Oh, there's not that many sports going on. Wrong. I'm looking at
so
you
much
could bet
going
on. You could bet on Wimbledon. You could bet on baseball. You can bet on WNBA. You could bet on MLS. You could bet on UFC. You could bet on NASCAR. You can bet on everything right here on the Barstool Sportsbook. Isn't that right, Trent?
Yeah, it is right. And I know this is coming out on a Thursday, so the For the Cut bet is already going, but we do For the Cut every week. And last I checked, we were up many units. So you can follow us. We pick 4 golfers each week to make the cut. And if they do, you get paid out. If they don't, we don't. But there's just fun, tailor-made bets like that all over the app, and it just makes it a lot more fun. It really does.
Yeah, it's like an app with a soul. It's not a soulless experience. You're going to be putting money in with your friends. You see all your familiar faces on there. So we got to say this part: terms apply. You got to be 21 plus. You got to be 21 plus to download the app, to start putting money in the app. To make money, you got to be 21 plus. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's serious. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. If you don't, enjoy, download, sign up for the Barstool Sportsbook today.
Another Midwest area. Oh, I don't know if you call this Midwest. I guess Michigan's Midwest, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Birmingham Country Club. We've got Tim Pierce out of Michigan. He played in the 2021 PGA at Kiawah. I guess we had met him out there. And he's going to give kind of his little take in here. Man, also these cool guy glasses is a huge thing when it comes to PGA professionals. What's that about, Tim?
Blowing smoke, man. Blowing smoke. I appreciate it.
Our guy Jackson had the same glasses on.
Same glasses, a little bit of a different frame, but the same.
I thought that kid Jackson was 15 years old for a second there. Me too. I thought he was trolling. I thought he was fully trolling.
I'm just trying to be like Trent in any aspect I can.
Look
Tim,
at that.
tell me you're not
from Iowa.
I'm from Michigan.
All right.
Okay.
Good enough.
Right. So, Tim, you are a club pro at Birmingham Country Club. How long have you been in the industry, and have you always been at this place? Is this a new spot? What's your status?
Been a PGA member for 5 years, and I've spent all 5 years here. I'm from the area, so it was a super easy transition for me.
That's awesome. Beautiful
part of town, just north of Detroit. So, Rocket Mortgage was in town here last week, and that was fun to have. We don't get many of those in this state, but plenty of good golf courses around us, so it was nice to have.
So if you win your section, do you get to play in that tournament?
Yes.
So who won it this year, and how do you do?
Kyle Martin, he's at Lockmore Club in Detroit. He actually beat me on the back nine this year.
Oh, all right, so you're close to getting in the Rocket Mortgage Classic.
I was close. Yeah, close, but no cigar. But, yeah, he played great. I think he shot 3 over in the first round and 2 under the second round. But I mean, at the Rocket, you got to go nuts to
you got to shoot 10. Here, you're in the. This is another sort of section of the PGA Club Pro life that we haven't talked about yet on this podcast. But the competitive side, I know in New York, at least in the Met section, there's it's almost like a tour. Like I know the State Opens is this weekend. Everyone's playing in. They got their section championship. So how many events will you play in per year? And is that something that your membership is nice enough to let you do? How does that whole work?
Yeah, I mean, I've been here 5 years, so they've kind of seen the process of how I've been doing the last 5 years. I had a very little success, but I continue to get better, and I try to play with them as much as I can, so they could see, this kid can kind of do it. So I'll play 8 to 10 tournaments a year, and some of the bigger ones for sure. I mean, working 60 hours a week, and trying to balance all of it's kind of tough. You're trying to grow your career and try to get better at golf. It's very tough, but I tell people all the time, it's you can always find time. You're probably going to be tired half the time, but you can always find that time. It's just a matter of
man. I mean, this is an interesting one because you're right there. You played in the fucking PGA Championship. You played in Kiawah, right? I mean, you're right there to make it into the Rocket Mortgage. What is there a part of you that's what? Not that something went wrong, but where is that player all the time that I can't be doing this every single week on the tour with these guys? If I can play in the major championship, I can possibly play in a regular PGA Tour event. Where is it? It's in there somewhere. You're proving that.
It's in there. I mean, I clearly don't hit the gym a lot, so that's probably the next step that I need to hit. But yeah, I mean, a lot of guys run into a fork in the road in their career and they go, you know what? They're either going to try to go all in, be a head pro somewhere, or you're going to go all in and maybe play for a few years and find the money to do so. And then, at least you said you did it. I'm kind of maybe at that road, but I don't know what's going to happen. I love my job, and they let me play as much as I want and travel as much as I want. So it's hard to give that up without knowing what's on the other side. So you just try to do what you can. It's great that the PGA has these opportunities for us, playing the PGA, playing the Rocket, see what Michael Block did. I mean, it's in there for all of us, the guys that can do it. It's just a matter of timing and being able to kind of pull it off. But I think all of us have it in us.
That's what I like also about you guys versus with the PGA versus the USGA stuff is you guys are pros. So if you guys win a golf tournament, hand me that fucking check, baby. 100% hand me that check. So did you play in the national? I know it was in New Mexico this year, right? Did you play in that?
I did. Yep.
Didn't quite make it to Oak
Hill. Didn't have
my
stuff. I actually missed the first cut. you could say it was a bad draw, but it is what it is. Everyone's playing the same course, same time. It's like it was tough. I mean, it's nothing like that I play. I mean, I go to Florida in the wintertime and I'm up in Michigan, so I play soft and then I play beach golf. I don't play desert golf at elevation. I mean, we were way up there at 5,200 feet, and so it was a little bit different for me. It was hard to adjust quickly.
Where's your game at, right? Like, what's your handicap? Like, how fucking elite are you right now?
I think I'm a +5 on my gin.
That's fucked.
I've been working on a few things. I mean, I'm a little guy, so I got to use the ground forces for speed, and I got to swing my heart out to keep up with some of the guys. But I mean, yesterday I think I had my best round ever. I shot 64 here at Birmingham, and did it in front of members, and it was a blast. And holed out a couple, and it was just.
I think you've got a really
things
good
can
gig.
go right, but
I think you've got a really good gig. You can do that in front of the members. They think you're the coolest guy in the world.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when guys ask me like, what's the difference between you and the guys that you play with at Kiawah, it's like, honestly, it's like timing. Because I think a lot of us can shoot 65, but can you do it in the Monday qualifier? Can you do it in those qualifiers that will get you to the next level?
Or can you do it 4 days in a row? Because this was something Andy Svoboda, he played on tour for a while. I think he's the head pro at, I don't know, he was an engineer somewhere in Connecticut.
Yeah.
And he got into the Travelers because he won his section, and he shot like, I think he was like 8 under through 2 rounds, and he was like T15, and they had one bad round where he shot 2 over, and he finished like 50th. It's like, can you do it 4 days in a row under the gun? That's the diff. 4 days is so many days.
And that's where those guys stand out, man. Like the mental like battles that you have, and whether you have weather delays or you got to get up early in the morning, you got to have that routine for certain times, and just dealing with fans and fatigue and just eating the right things and having the right coaches telling you what to do, how much sleep to get. But that's the difference, right? I mean, Ryan Gerard, who I met down in Florida this year, he Monday qualified into the Honda.
Yeah.
Monday qualified into the Honda and basically rode this wave, and now he's got people to support him to push him to higher, ground. So it's like, if you can do it that one day, then maybe it turns into 5 years of very successful golf. So you just never know. And we're all kind of hanging on to that. So, and that's kind of why we love to play and love to kind of take any opportunity we can. And that's why guys travel around on Mondays and that whole thing, which is for the love of maybe that one time, that one taste.
So we just talked to a kid, Jackson. He's kind of in the midst of the grind of going through the Club Pro school and seeing what he wants to do. He's taking internships at Shinnecock and all these other places. What have you seen about the industry? Obviously, you're on a different side of it. You're way more skilled. You're able to play more than most people, I would assume. Like, what are you seeing from the industry right now, where it's this like crisis, some are calling it, of like the 80-hour work weeks, and you're not going to get these young kids to come in here and just stand behind a counter and answer phone calls and deal with bags and all of that. Like, what is there anything that has to change with the industry to get more people that love golf into it? Or what are you seeing from your vantage point?
It's different. We have a lot of kids here at the club, like maybe too many. We got 200 here in our junior golf program, and like they all are learning way different than how I learned. And so adapting to those learning curves and just like getting anything in their hand to just let them, love being on the course, love being on the range. I was a kid that just loved grinding on the range and just like holing out 72-hole putting tournaments with my friends, and like just falling in love with that side of golf, the honest and the true put the ball in the hole kind of golf. Nowadays where it's like, there's different missions and initiatives and things like that to get people just to fall in love with being on the course and coming to the golf course, period. And I think that will lead to more love of the game, maybe even competition, which I think a lot of us golf pros that's how we grew into it. And we learned, that we loved competition, tournaments, winning stuff, qualifying for things. And now we wanted to teach that to the kids. And so we are kind of at a crossroads in terms of, there's a positive because there's more head pro jobs and jobs around the country for us. However, who are we going to hire? And I think that's like what we're going to run into down the road. So, I mean, me as an assistant golf pro here, it's like I'm just doing everything I can to grow it as much as I can in any way that I can. And I think that's the reason why I got into it. So, I would assume and hopefully try to get that onto the kids that we have here and just keep pushing them into it. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, it definitely helps that the Rickie Fowlers of the world are winning golf tournaments and Tiger Woodses are playing in golf tournaments. That helps, drive a little bit of, interest and want to go play. I mean, as you guys know, you get the itch the most just watching these major tournaments. You want to just go play. Let's go. Like, I can't wait to go play. And sometimes you play better just because you're so motivated and ready to go. So, yeah, we're battling that right now. But so far, so good for Birmingham Country Club, where it's very healthy and very busy. So it's good.
Yeah, sounds like you guys got it going over there. How'd you do at the PGA? What happened in 2021? Who'd you play with? What was your experience like?
Yeah, so I got to play with Sebastian Munoz and Sam Horsfield in the actual tournament.
You got two tour pros. That was nice of them.
2 tour pros, yeah. So that was fun. And then I got to jump in with I played with Omar Uresti, who won the PPC that year, and Matt Kuchar happened to be on the 10th tee, and we played 9 holes with Matt Kuchar. Did
Sam Horsfield have a good week that week?
He did. Well, he shot 69 in the first round. He was tied for second, and then he shot 80. Then he shot 80 to make the cut on the number.
Okay, I remember Sam Horsfield that week, and I didn't remember what I was, but there it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool to watch. I mean, he's super solid. But it was funny that they were one of the 2 first guys to go to live. You know, it made total sense. But they got a long future ahead, and I'll always be fans of those guys. I played 9 holes with Poulter, which was just him and Matt Wallace having the Englishman banter and just messing around with me. It was a good time, man. I broke 80 twice in the tournament.
There you go. Solid.
And I was jacked. Like, my swing was good. I didn't really have to worry about, working on something while I was out there or feeling something while I was out there. I was just playing golf and enjoying walking the fairways and that was the highlight of my life, obviously, so far. I mean, it's crazy that, that was a lifelong goal that I accomplished already. And
how old are you?
Yeah, I just turned 28 on Friday.
Yeah, so you're my age. So you got a lot of PGAs to play.
You're so much more mature than me. It's crazy.
Just coming into the prime, I think. That's what I like.
Yeah, definitely 100%. What is Block, like 40, 30?
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
he's like 45 or something.
Yeah, bro, you got plenty of time.
Yeah.
Oh, what I don't have time.
I appreciate you guys having me on.
I got to be at this fucking winery in like 30 minutes.
Wedding
weekend is fucking starting, boys.
No, this is Tim. That's great perspective. We got all different sides of it today.
That was a great show. I got to be honest. That was
fun. We talked to a bunch of superintendents. We talked to all different aspects of the pro life. You got the guys that are in the midst of actually being in the school, and then guys like Tim that do the playing side of it.
PGA Championship. Yeah.
Fucking awesome, man. Really good show. See what we can cook up on a random Wednesday in July.
The boys are chefing. The boys are chefing.
Very impressive.
Tim, we really appreciate the time, man. It's great to see you again. Best of luck with everything. Hopefully we see you in at the Rocket Mortgage one year or the PGA in another.
Where's the PGA next year? Kentucky, right?
Valhalla, yeah, that's right.
All right, there you go. We'll see you there.
We'll see you there.
Appreciate it, guys.
The game needs so many Tims.
Oh,
Tim is great. Tim is great.
I love Tim. He's like a guy who gets it, and he's like, I'm in it, and I want more people in it, and I'm trying to grow the game as much as I can. I'm playing great golf, but man, the game needs a lot of Tims.
Isn't life very interesting when you see 2 different perspectives like that back to back that we just saw? You saw Jackson and Tim, who are both aspiring to be the same thing, but one happens to be more skilled than the other. It's just like the way the world works.
He's just older. I think he's 28 versus 23.
Okay, so Jackson could be there.
5 years.
Right. Yeah. But you're just seeing like that's the path that Jackson wants to get to right there. Like that is exactly it. That's
he
where
wants to be able to go play in the tournaments and
And we got to see different evolutions of the club pro just by accepting a couple phone calls, which is awesome.
It's also, and I talk about this probably too much, but when you talk to a guy like Tim, you think about a guy like Scotty Scheffler or Colin Morikawa or Rory McIlroy.
Oh, how good
those guys are aliens. Oh. Tim's talking about like, we're playing these Mondays and sometimes we can shoot a 65 or I'll shoot a 64 in front of the members and it's a huge deal. And then he's talking about the mental side of it, like 4 days. It's easy to do it 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. And then these guys like Scotty hasn't finished outside the top 15 on the PGA Tour in 2 years or whatever it is. Like I always think about like people who watch professional golf, like as a casual fan, don't understand a guy like Scotty Scheffler and like what it takes to be a guy like that. It's so impressive.
We never will. We never will. We'll never be able to totally grasp that, like what it takes.
That consistency is insane.
Yeah, it's the shooting 68 when you're playing like shit. That's really what it is. Like Scotty has found a way to, when he's putting like a blind ferret, shoot 4 under par, and then the putter heats up a little bit and he shoots 9 under, and it's like, oh, we're fine.
Fellas, I gotta go. I actually gotta go. This has been a great 2-hour show here with the fellas. Hopefully Riggsy Boy enjoyed his time in Bandon. We'll have to get a recap of that tonight. We have Breaking 90. Make sure you're there. Make sure you're in the premiere. And also, again, as a reminder, go to alltrue.com/foreplay, ALLTROO, and we are going to have you donate to the Folds of Honor Foundation with a chance to win an amazing sweepstakes, courtesy of All True and Folds of Honor and Foreplay podcast. You can go to the Ryder Cup with you and a buddy and the whole deal. So yeah, great show, guys. Happy 4th of July. We will see you. Oh, I'll see Trent on Saturday. Danny's not coming to the wedding, by the way, and it's not a rig situation. He has a bachelor party that he's in the wedding party, so he's graciously told me he could not make it. But it's not a rig situation. If you guys see any pictures,
no, I'm going to Columbia, the country, not the city in South Carolina. I'm super nervous, very nervous, just nervous.
Just come back alive is the thing.
I'm just nervous. I got to charge my thing. All right.
All right.
Plugging this in.
All right, guys. Oh, hit it hard.
Oh, hit it hard.